Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers.
Correct.
If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
Did you hear what I said?
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
You know, that's just one step above stupid. There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
Hey. All right. What's going on, freaks? Well, today's another day. I did watch the entire Delphi special. I was in there a few times for the it was on Hulu, ABC miniseries or whatever. It was just it's just another one of those disappointing shows, you know, where it was like 50-50 is Richard Allen not guilty, and it's like he's the killer, everybody. There is no doubt about it. You know, there's nothing in doubt. And I'll tell you one of the things that really bothered me did you guys watch that at all? Any of you guys? The Hulu special with for Delphi. They used my interview with Jerry Holman in there a few times, along with Hidden True Crime, and then Tom Webb, I think Webster, is that his last name, or Weber? I can't remember. Well, he was kind of like the main YouTuber type guy that was in there, and then Frank Meister was in there, and yeah, it was kind of cool, but man, it was just so ridiculous. You want to know what the part that bothered me the most? What have I always said about the prosecution team? That they didn't want to accept the confession of their own client because they wanted this to go to trial so that they could, you know, maximize their exposure and, you know, income, etc. And you know what's weird about that? Like during this series or whatever, they had filmed themselves the entire time. Yeah, I didn't ask Elena, but you remember how the entire time they what do you say? They filmed themselves. So from the get-go, like early on, they were filming, knowing that, hey, someday we're gonna get to make a documentary. We want to have the footage. I mean, what a bunch of weirdos, man. That right there just gave it away. I mean, all the way through, there's these videos of them in the kitchen talking about the case and everything. Why would they have done that? Oh, his wife's delusional. And and the documentary cut out the parts where she said, "You didn't tell me you were on the bridge." Yeah, but you didn't tell me you were on the bridge, you know. And yeah, so they cut that part out. I think his wife is absolutely delusional, and she knows what the truth is. And she's just pretending to think something else. There's no way. But hey guys, we got a new show going on today, and we're starting off at 0 again. Every single show. It seems like it's sort of a struggle into the show. So let me try to, maybe I could set up, guess that doesn't work. Where is it? Right there. Okay, random. Alright, there we go. Gotta have something up on the screen. That was just really disturbing how much they were on video. Like all the time, the entire time that they were working with Richard Allen, they filmed it. Like and just random stuff too. Like the camera was always on so they could make sure that really weird to me. Yeah, she recognized that was her husband. They didn't ask her, well, did you think that could have been your husband? You know, they don't ever ask those questions. They just say, what did you think? Or whatever. You know, it's just I thought they leaned towards trying to make it look like he wasn't the guy. They even went over the Odinist crap. They went over the Ron Logan bull crap. All of it. All right. Anyways, hey, thanks, Ralph K. David. Right. And that's what I always tried to tell people when I would cover the case, what Ralph just typed in there. I'd always say, Richard Allen is bridge guy. And I actually think the prosecution sort of picked up on what I was doing over here. Because every time we would cover it, it absolutely nailed him in. And I said, listen, you guys, it doesn't even matter about the bullet. Doesn't matter about Sarah Carbaugh. Doesn't matter about anything. Richard Allen is bridge guy. He is the guy in the video. There is no doubt about it. And that's all you got to sell. And once you sell that to the jury, because it's, you know, it's easy to sell because all the facts point right to it, then he is going to be, you know, he is the killer at that point. Because the guy on the bridge is the one that told the girls to go down the hill, and then to pretend that all of a sudden he handed them off to somebody else, it wouldn't even matter because then it would be felony murder. Yeah. And another thing they didn't bring up out of my interview with Holman was the part where I asked Jerry Holman, hey, why do you think the girls were there that day? What made them go to the bridge? And he said, I think they were going there because of Keegan, or of Anthony Schott's account, which is Keegan Klein. And then I was just saying, well, then how in the hell how is Richard Allen not connected to Keegan Klein? He didn't show up, the Keegan Klein account, but then this other guy does? So on that very day, a catfishing account and a serial killer-like person just happened to be out there? I don't know, man. And then that day, before he went to the bridge, he actually went out to Peru, Indiana, where Keegan Klein lives, and apparently went to his parents' house. I mean, how weird is that? I think someday there's going to be a connection. Somehow. Whether they knew each other or not, I don't know, but maybe there was like an account, or somehow Richard Allen knew that. Yeah, see you later, Upside Downside. You'll never be commenting again. Have a nice day. What a loser. All right. Let's see. Didn't know that. Yeah. Why did he have his gun out there if he wasn't planning something? And then they also have his. They found about 100, a dozen other cell phones, but not the one he had that day. Anyways, it's crazy. It just, I hate the way these companies cover cases. They leave out really, really incredibly crucial pieces of information that would make people go, yeah, no, this guy did it. They want you to kind of just sort of be on the edge and not sure about anything. Sucks. All right, anyways. Gray, I came here for Kohberger, not the Well, I don't give a damn what you came here for. Do you understand? I'm going to talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. You know what I mean? If I have something I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about it. And if you don't like it, then just don't watch, I mean, I'm used to it. I'm absolutely used to it. I put out the best videos on different cases. Hardly anybody even sees them. So I'm used to it. If you don't like it, then get lost. All right. I'm not just a one-trick pony. You know, I've literally I covered the Delphi case for years, and then I covered the Idahofour case for a long time, and I've covered a whole bunch of different cases for a long time, and I have a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. But hey, you guys, we need your guys' support on the channel tonight. Tonight we're at $1.99, which is 1/250th of the goal. So if you guys could help support the channel, that would be great. That's what we do on a nightly basis here. Oh, and guess what? I'm going to waste some more of your time, because I heard back from RAINN today. They actually emailed me, then we talked on the phone. He wanted me to let's see, where is it? Yeah, well, I got to go to my email. Hold on, I'll read it off the side. It said, from RAINN, just a second. It says, it was great getting to chat with you on the phone today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to discuss RAINN and what we can do for you. And then it said, I didn't realize we had donated that much. Thanks, Lacey Rust and Sandy Shirley.
Let's support Ray with a wave. Ocean wave emoji. Ocean wave emoji. Ocean wave emoji. Surf with me. Surfer emoji. Ocean wave emoji.
It says, we appreciate your generosity. We will be sure to keep you in the loop with any and all critical news updates regarding RAINN, and you will receive our latest impact report from me every time they become available. As I mentioned, you are one of the most dedicated and impactful supporters. I was told the other day that we haven't helped anybody. That my channel doesn't do a damn thing for anybody at all. And yet here's RAINN saying that, you know, if you don't believe me, I'll show it. Here it is on the screen. Right there. It says, as I mentioned, you are one of the most dedicated and impactful supporters, so I will continue to fill you in on the recent news updates. All right, you see that? Thank you. Thanks, Kit Kat and Paul Marino. All right. Now listen. Here, just listen. I'm going to show you something here. Or I guess you can look, and we're going to read a couple different things. I want people to see this. So this is, first of all, he gave us our totals from, I guess we started donating. I mean, there's 2020 is when we started, because you can see there's 2020. They're not in particular order for some reason. But look at this. We've given RAINN $29,746. That's crazy. I mean, I thought it was, you know, like 24 or something. But look at that, $29,746, and that's because of you guys, the ad revenue, etc. Okay, and there it is right there for all the little troll dipshits out there. There you go. It's right there. There's the number. And then we have, let's just read this. This is what RAINN is about, right? So, support impact report. In the last several months, this incredible community has shown up in a big way and has made a tremendous impact for survivors of sexual violence, and we couldn't be more grateful. Thanks to your support, RAINN is expanding the ways we serve survivors, from answering thousands of calls on the National Sexual Assault Hotline to launching WhatsApp-based crisis support. People like you are helping survivors find safety and hope. In just the last several months, your commitment has helped us answer more than 100,000 calls, chat through our 24/7 victim service program, expand RAINN survivor supporter services to reach more people across new platforms like WhatsApp. Now we're here, Program Spotlight, meeting survivors where they are with WhatsApp. This year, RAINN launched crisis support over WhatsApp thanks to innovative teach partnerships with Amazon Web Services, AWS, and in the coming days, our hotline will also become available over text messages. Survivors can now reach us in English or Spanish through the messaging platforms they already use, bringing vital support directly to their fingertips. By advancing our support services, we're expanding the network of hope, courage, and community, and it's all because of you. Supporting survivors through policy, innovative. We, I don't know if if you want. I mean, I can just read through. It only goes to there. So, with help from the community of supporters, RAINN helped pass key laws in states like Virginia and Mississippi, removing barriers to justice for survivors, including laws that prevent forced co-parenting with abusers, provide immunity for survivors reporting assault, expand telehealth access to sexual assault nurse exams. This year, RAINN helped pass the Take It Down Act, the first ever federal law criminalizing the distribution of non-consensual AI-generated explicit images. Our policy team also fought to stabilize the Crime Victim Fund, essential funding for survivor services nationwide. We also brought survivors' voices directly to Congress at our annual Day of Action, ensuring lawmakers hear firsthand why this work matters. And then, how the Takedown Act will help survivors. Had this legislation been in place at the time of my case, I would not have experienced the constant and repeated pain, as the video of the attack would have been promptly removed, significantly reduced the chance of wider circulation on the platforms. It would have further empowered me to feel as though I had options to protect myself and ensure that the perpetrator would be held accountable for the irreparable harm he caused. And it says, it's all thanks to supporters like you. Thank you for taking the time to explore the remarkable impact of your support for survivors of sexual violence. Truly, our work to help survivors wouldn't be possible without the community commitment. And we are grateful for your partnership. So there you go. There we go. I mean, it's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, we've given $29,000+ over since January of 2020. So, anyways, if you guys feel like you want to help support the channel, which allows us to do stuff like that at the end of the month and during the month, I would appreciate it. And thank you up there to, we had Allie Cake, Charlotte Denny, and Derek Sherman. Yeah, me too, Derek. I hope I have a decent night here. It always seems, we always hit these massive lulls, you know, even when there should be momentum, it just goes. Yeah. All right, so we got that. So thank all the freaks for all those years of doing that. I'm sure Texas EchoSearch is probably a similar number, and I think NICMEC is right up there too. So I think each one of those is right around that same number. I'm usually pretty good at just kind of rotating around. Yeah, they don't give a shit, Elena. So YouTube doesn't care about anything like that. Hey, did you? I sent you a text message. Did you contact Colleen? My father's alibi? I don't know if you responded. You might have later. Let's see. Oh, thanks. But no, you did not. Thanks. Thanks, Maggie, for a good cause. How awesome. Yeah, I mean, my channel, I make an income on here. Like, we just try to, you know, I donate usually close to like 30-something% of the gross income, you know, so that means I get taxed on what's ever left, and then it's almost, you know, it's not too big a difference there. And that means my ad revenue, the super chats, the super thanks, all that different stuff at the end of the month. Like last month, we donated $4,000. A month before that, not as much, but then I think 5 or 6 the month before that. So that was good. And we're currently at, for this year, 26,051. So right now we're above our first year, and we still got 5 months to go. But we did 62,000 in 2022, which is, that's going to be hard to really ever get there again. That's crazy. We're just going. I'm going to go over these. There's this huge interview that they did on one of the networks with Thompson, and it's all in there written, so we can go over that. And then just there's these in that one document dump from Pullman. You know, it has like his letters, his emails back and forth, and it's new to me, so I don't know if you guys have seen all that stuff, but that's a really difficult site to navigate through. It's just piled on stuff. Yeah, but hey, did you talk to her? My father's alibi? Thank you, Maggie. All right, let's go. Gray, I came here for Kohberger. You know what I think sucks is when I do live streams, it's just a live stream, you guys. You know, there's no like getting to the point type of thing. It's just a live stream. We're hanging out. We're talking about stuff. It's not like when I make videos, they're very just ding, 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 all the way through, boom. All right? So you can go ahead and watch those. If you don't like hanging out with people, then, you know, it's just, that's your deal, you know. I'm not going to change the way we do it. Hey, was it productive, my father's alibi? That's what I want to know. Was it productive? I mean, did she explain things well? Did it seem like she might be able to help with something? Put it yes or no, I guess. I don't know the Lindsay Clancy case, so I guess I wouldn't be able to do an update. Let's see. I heard BK was crying. His autism or OCD really be working in over to. He doesn't cry, Kohberger. Oh, cool. All right. Well, you have to send me an email or something and tell me what happened, how that went, if you could. All right. Oh yeah, I'll just load these things up. These are things I was looking at in these documents out there. So I thought this was sort of interesting, and then it sort of seemed to be rebuked on the next thing, but it said, looks like January 10th, 2023. On 12/30/2022, Brian Kohberger had been arrested for 4 counts of murder, first degree, and burglary for an incident that occurred 11/13/2022 in Moscow, Idaho. An affidavit, says District Court by MPD Corporal Brett Payne noted their investigation concluded that Kohberger had entered a residence in Idaho wearing a mask and killed 3 college-age women and 1 college-age man using a knife at the woman's residence near the University of Idaho campus. The affidavit noted Kohberger had begun attending Washington State University in the fall of 2022. DeSales University stated on their website that Kohberger completed bachelor's degree there in 2020 and his graduate studies in 2022. Although Kohberger would not have been residing in Pullman during October of 2021, I think that's where all those other videos are. Bashir's advised PPD had received information that WSU Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology may have had an on-campus event for prospective graduate students that Kohberger may have attended around the time of this incident. So there was an incident in October of 2021 of somebody that went into a sorority on WSU campus wearing a mask and they had a knife. So that was pretty weird. I have no idea what you're talking about, Mike. Anyways, I'm just trying to do the show. Do you mind? It's just, you guys are crazy, man. I emailed the department graduate program coordinator, Daniel Macon, requesting information. So they're saying that there was perhaps like a may have attended a prospective graduate student event, on-campus event. And then January 19th, 2023, I received an email from Macon responding to my request. It contained a forwarded email from Melanie Angela, Associated Professor and Chair, which read that the program was not aware of any visit by Kohberger during the period indicated and did not hold any recruitment events at that time. You know what I bet you? Just the fact that this is out there and there was an event with somebody wearing a mask and they had a knife, the pro-burgers would take something like this and turn it into, see, there's really this other guy out there. That's just the way they do it, man. They can't help themselves. It's just sort of it's in their DNA. Okay, so I figured out who I met with on October 15th, and it was B.K. Norton. I think we can safely tell Pullman PD that they're not aware of any visit from Kohberger. Now they're look up, who's this B.K. Norton? During the period they indicated, we did not hold a recruitment event during that time and actually did not hold any in-person one that fall anyway. Right, because that would have been COVID time. So anyways, I thought that was sort of, there's all these videos that they uploaded from that incident. And it's just not related. So it's like, why even upload them? You know what I mean? Once you guys realize that he wasn't there and it's not related, you don't need to put those videos out there. Right. I don't even know anything about that case, Mike. You just put so much information in there. It's just, it's like, it's wild. So here's another thing that was on there. Let's see. I thought this was sort of interesting. It was like the procedural stuff on getting Kohberger back to Pullman. All right. But you guys are having one of those massive lulls. You can't reach the goal when we have these lulls like this. The Pennsylvania State Police will be transporting a high-priority inmate, Brian Kohberger, via aircraft to the Moscow Pullman Regional Airport on January 3rd, 2023 at approximately 3:30 p.m. Mr. Kohberger is currently in Pennsylvania State Police custody per warrant issued out of Latah County Courts for the November 13th murders of four University of Idaho students. This case has generated significant media attention nationwide. The attention has generated a large media presence in the area, as well as attracted the interest of many citizens. Due to this heightened awareness, the potential for unseen threats related to the transport of Mr. Kohberger and the potential for information compromise due to media overwatch, Mr. Kohberger's transport has been deemed high risk. The Latah County Sheriff's Office is tasked with the safe transfer, thanks CR, and transportation of Mr. Kohberger from the custody of PSP to the Latah County Jail. The transportation team will meet at the initial rally point in the parking lot northwest of Target at the Palouse Empire Mall in Moscow for briefing. Team members will ensure all required equipment, to include vehicles, is operational prior to briefing. Due to the uncertainty of the transport arrival time, it is advised that team members be prepared early for departure to the initial rally point. Let's see. At the designated time, 1300, the team will move from the initial rally point, traveling west on Pullman Road, turning north onto Airport Road, and proceeding to the airport. Pullman PD will provide security for the team to ingress and egress interstate aviation. The team will contact the transport airport at a predetermined location on or near the tarmac. See diagram. The team will position the vehicles near the aircraft so that the prisoner compartment doors are facing the aircraft exit, if possible, to provide cover and concealment. Mr. Kohberger is to be secured and placed into ballistic vest and helmet. Captain S. Anderson, I never saw him wearing the helmet, did you guys? And placed into the prisoner compartment of the designated transport vehicle. The team will then depart the ORP area, operating overhead lights on all vehicles, and proceed east on Airport Road to its intersection with Pullman Road. The team will then head east on Pullman Road to the intersection with Farm Road and Perimeter Drive, Checkpoint Chevrolet, they call this. This whole thing is called Operation Turtle Shell. That's what they called him. No what? What are you guys saying no to? No, 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 no. I don't see anything. Maybe I need to turn live chat on. Nah, I don't see anything. So what's all the no's for? I don't get it. Oh, the helmet wearing. Yeah, okay. Jesus, you guys are so far behind. I asked that question like a minute ago. Anyways, it just kind of tells where Idaho State Police will be providing traffic control. CP Ford blocking the intersection of A Street and Jackson Street. Man, it's almost like he was like a president coming to visit. Crazy, huh? And then there was some of these other documents here. Like, let's see. These are emails from Kohberger about the job. You know, trying to get that position, I think. Let's see. Yeah, like right here. Brian Kohberger. And then he says, I'm contacting you in response to your okay, that was them emailing him. Application for the doctoral level graduate research assistantship for public safety. Dr. Macon from WSU shared your application documents with me and agreed that a chance for me to talk with each applicant would be beneficial. I would like to schedule an approximate 45-minute online interview with you. Please let me know your availability next week. If we can find a date time that works out for you, we'll try for the following week. Let me know. And that one's another, let's see. This one's, I think he mentions Brian up here. But it's really just kind of a form about what the program is. Okay, and this one's from Kohberger. Says, Chief Jenkins, it was great. It was a great pleasure to meet with you today and share my thoughts and excitement regarding the research assistantship. I think he shouldn't have said share my thoughts. He should have said, it was a great pleasure to meet with you today and hear about the fantastic opportunity. Like, he almost makes it seem like it was their pleasure to hear his thoughts, you know. It was a great pleasure to meet you today and share my thoughts and excitement regarding the research assistantship for public safety. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm in control of this situation, don't you know? Brian. Good afternoon. Okay, I'm available at, I guess this might be before that, 1 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday of the week of April 11th to partake in the interview process. I'm also available at any time that works best for you on Tuesday of next week. So isn't that interesting? Like on April 11th, he's interviewing for this, and he's not even there yet. Like, he's not even in Pullman. In fact, he had bought the K-bar knife sheath about 2 weeks before that. Isn't that weird? That's crazy. Like, he's applying. He's getting it all worked out, you guys. Hey, there's CR. And thanks, Daryl. Okay, Dale. Okay, hold on. Dale, and I was supposed to get rid of the G. Gallio. Right? And then CR, the membership gifting queen. Yeah, so check it out. He's applying to have this internship at the Pullman Police Department. I think maybe this isn't that. Is this the... Yeah, no, yeah, this is for that internship at the Pullman Police Department. And he's doing that 2 months before he even goes there. So he wants to get all set up so that he has the ability to, possibly control, even from the law enforcement side, what's going on. So look at that. He buys the K-bar knife sheath in, I think it's late March, right? And then on April 11th, he's communicating to try to get that position. That's wild. Finally, I said it right. Okay, cool. And thanks, CR. What do you guys make of that? Hello, Susan Hamilton. That's a little odd, don't you think? I mean, that's crazy because when he's emailing this police department, he likely already he just received the K-bar knife sheath in the mail, so he already has that part of his plan in action. And now he just wants to be part of the police department. Man, that's creepy. So when he's doing these emails, he's already got the plan and the knife probably sitting in his hand. He's probably, fiddling with the knife in his hand at that point. I am contacting you in response to your application for doctoral level graduate research assistantship for public safety in Washington State University and your interest in working with the Pullman Police Department. Dr. Macon from WSU shared your application documents with me and agreed that a chance for me to talk with each applicant would be a beneficial part of the selection process. I would like to schedule an appointment, 45 minutes online interview with you. Please let me know your availability. And then there's the same, I'm available. A lot of repeated stuff in these. Tuesday, April 12th at 10 Pacific time works for me. And that's what Brian says. Okay, so there must have been, he said, how about that time? And then he said, yeah, that sounds good. So April 12th at 10. Oh, here it is. Brian, would Tuesday, April 12th at 10 work? And he said, that's fine with me. I'm available after 1 Pacific time, Monday. Okay, we already saw that. Yesterday was the closing for the applicants. I've attached a zip folder with all applications. Brian, and then something applicant. I mean, I'm sure that's him. Most people don't spell their name Bryan. Thank you, Mike Weber. Yeah, right. That's exactly what he thought he was. He thought he was he wanted to be, he probably would have learned how to take photographs if he got in there, right? Crime scene reconstructionist. A helpful guide. There's that. If I can be of any assistance making in a selection, please don't hesitate. I think these are, so they're deciding here. Hey, and then there's great pleasure to meet with you. Yeah, we already read that. Is that the Gary Jenkins is inviting? Okay, that must be like the online meeting thing for him to meet on the 12th. Has invited you to Ring Central video meeting. God, man, think about how creepy that must be in his mind now that he met with Brian Kohberger, and now he sort of remembers the Zoom meeting where he's looking at this guy with bushy eyebrows that actually took over the meeting from Brian himself. He at one point, Jenkins asked the eyebrows if they had any questions. In fact, one of the... Just kidding. I could just keep going, man. I could keep going. All right, nothing there. Nothing more in that one. I don't know where the one where it's... let's see. Maybe there's some more in this one. These are two different documents, but they have a lot of the same stuff in there. Yeah. It's a great pleasure to meet you with you today and share my thoughts. Okay, we got that. I'm looking for the one where he's denied. I'm available. I'm contacting. I'm available. And that's the time again. I'm contacting you. Okay, that's still the scheduling stuff. Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there might be in one of the documents out there the final response. I don't know. Hey, Gray, you're so mean. All right, where are we at here? We're at 40% of the goal tonight, you guys. So if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be awesome. We got to get there within these 2 hours so that we can, maybe just look into a random cold case or something. We haven't done that in a long time. It has one last message. I wanted to read these. Let's see what he said in this one. This is from Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson, the lead prosecutor in the Brian Kohberger case, spoke with 48 Hours correspondent Peter Van Sant days after Kohberger was sentenced for life sentences. Oh yeah, this is one I wanted to do last because it's kind of long. Let me go over... let's check this one out. Yeah, so this is what we talked about. I just want to see if they have any different wording. We've already all thought the same thing. It's amazing how late some of the networks are to the same stuff that we talk about. It's crazy. I got thrown in prison. Oh, jeez. Look at that. CR tossed me in jail. Now the show is frozen. Do you see that? Dang. We're stuck. CR threw me in jail and said, "Gray, you bastard," and a prison in the jail cell in the front. Oh man, you guys. Oh, look at that. She sent me a tin cup in the jail. Now I have to cling it on the door. I feel like I got a tin cup in here almost every night. It's like I have to go, "Hey everybody, help support the channel." All right, here we go. That doesn't sound right. Let's see. There you go. There isn't really any metal there. I have to pretend. I'm kicking against the bars there, okay? I laughed so hard at your eyebrow joke. Hey, cool, Amy. Amy Lemoyne. He asked the eyebrows, "Do you have any questions? How about you?" Oh yeah, the booze bottle. Yeah, remember that? That person goes, "Great, tell about the bottle of Jim Beam you've got over there." It's still sitting there. It's an empty bottle. Jesus, man. People are... Thanks, Amy Lemoyne. You know what, though? I have no bail money yet, so we're going to need to get on that. And then look at that, for a new tin spooner cup. Yeah, this doesn't sound very tinny here. We're still at 0 bail, you guys. We got a tin cup for jail, and then Mariska was helping fund that, and then Amy's was about my joke. So we are stuck. That's right. I'm right next to Kohberger himself. I'm actually in his eyebrows are in the cell next to me on the other side. Let's see. You need to replace it with a full one. Yeah, definitely. All right, you guys. This is the time where people help bail Gray out of prison. Oh my God! Look at that. I think CR just bailed me out, got me a cab, and a night in a hotel room. Look at, we got Walker for smokes. Well, thank you. Thanks for bailing me out there, CR. That was very kind of you. I'm going to go right over to the Motel 6. If anybody wants to help upgrade that, maybe we can. Right, thanks. You bailed me out. You got me out of there. You know, finally, somebody who threw me in prison actually bailed me out. You know, a lot of times I get thrown in prison and languish in there for like hours, it feels like. Yeah, I mean, everybody's, I know it's not easy on my, you know, like we try to, every single night, try to reach different goals. I haven't really been able to make videos because I don't really have something to, you know, I'm not like the other people who make non-consequential videos. I think every video that I try to put out is something that is like, hey, you guys see this? This is reality here. You know, I don't just go, hey, you know, like the UK guy who just stares into the mic and talks gibberish for 20 minutes, but it sounds great. You ever notice that? A person from the UK could talk about a sewage system, and it would sound like the most interesting thing in the world because of their accent. It's crazy. Yeah, we made it to about 75% there. I don't take suggestions for the cold case. I just go look for one. I mean, maybe I've done that one. I don't know. You can send me an email on it, and I could make a folder, check it out. But yeah, the UK guy is a total fraud that covered the Kohberger case, and every single video he ever made was in like support of Kohberger and how he isn't the killer, but he's just spitballing, you know, just absolute garbage. And then as soon as Kohberger pled guilty, he's like, well, yeah, I mean, I was just trying to look at the other side. No, you weren't, man. No, you weren't. You were trying to give the people who watch you what they wanted instead of doing what the facts tell you. Because I'll tell you this right here on this channel, I don't care what anybody's opinion is. If I'm looking at the information and I see it says something, that's what I'm going to be telling, despite what's popular. And if people go, oh, I'm going to go watch somebody else because you don't agree with me, that's great, but you'll be coming back later because we are accurate here. You'll probably go, shit, Gray, I didn't believe what you were saying, but yeah, here we go. And that's what happens all the time here. Yeah. Yeah, totally, CR. I mean, it just is crazy. Yeah, so anyways, I think we got to about 70%. We're still about, let's see, I'd say about 12 or 13 memberships away. And the clown. How about the clown with the spider eyes? You know what's sad is there's people in this chat right here that's watched a lot of his videos and probably thought they were so good. And he just tricked all of you. I mean, let me ask you something. I've said this before, but isn't the last person in the world you want to believe in the true crime genre a clown? I mean, like literally a literal clown that you believed in. Dress up as a clown. Yeah, that's right. See, CR, I totally agree with CR on these things. No, he's not even a good singer. I've never watched. Yeah, I've watched a few of them because he used to attack me all the time. And look out, who won that one? Like, what an idiot. Jesus. And then he deleted every single video he made attacking Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen over and over and over again. Probably knew that, hey, maybe lawsuits will be coming his way. Spike that tea you're hiding. Oh, yeah, that's right. Here we go. This is really just pure, that's just pure whiskey, everybody. Even though it says Wendy's and they sell iced tea there. That's my trick, though. I just... Thanks, T. Ree. Brian Kohberger. Right, you guys should just be watching over here. Court TV, I just saw that they texted me earlier about being on for Donna Adelson on Friday. I'm not sure if I'm like, I don't feel like I'm an expert yet on that. I mean, we've gone over it a few times. I don't like to just be sort of I like to have something unique to add, a thought that's different. Although, the Donna Adel, she's toast, you guys. I mean, that probable cause in that one is so rock solid. I don't even know why she's going to trial. It's a waste of time, really. It's just... what do you mean it's a mess? I just think it's obvious, you know. Yeah, I like Jim Beam. I don't drink it every, like I probably have once, maybe twice a month I'll have a drink or something. And that's the reality, even though it doesn't sound cool to the trolls. Oh, that's bull crap, Gray. You've got to... You should do it if they pay you. No, they don't pay on Court TV. I just go on there. It actually usually hurts my show. Because I'll go on there, and then by the time I come over here, people are doing something else, and not as many people watch. Yeah, I mean, the Adelson case, if you do, when you have the chart in front of you, it's kind of easy to follow along. If you don't have the chart, it gets kind of confusing. But anyways, back to this. So it says the lead prosecutor handling the Brian Kohberger case says he believes the convicted killer was likely in the Idaho home of his victims. We talked about that yesterday. Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson told 48 Hours podcast that Kohberger's movements and apparent familiarity with the home led to that belief. I don't agree that he had to be in that home to have, when you say apparent familiarity. He just had to know to get upstairs. Never try an old fashioned. I barfed. Barfed? Is that what you... I don't know what an old fashioned is, but... Hey, thanks, Grant. And that's my brother's name, by the way. Maybe you're him and pretending not to be. Thank you. And thank you up there to Ralph again. Yeah. Not sure. What is an old fashioned? What's in that? Let me look it up. Let's look it up. What is in an old fashioned drink? An old fashioned cocktail typically contains whiskey, sugar, bitters, and garnish, like an orange peel. So what it just depends on what bar you go to. Like if you go to a bar and they just do a free pour. Now they have these little guys with the little thing, and they go like that. What you want to do is find like a local bar or someplace if you really want to get a good deal. When they free pour it, and you get them in a conversation, so they're like, "Oh yeah, how are your kids doing? Oh really? That's great. Woo! Whoa! And yeah, that's when your old fashioned probably was a little too much. Yeah, when they put like 4.5 ounces in there with a little bit of the bitters. Those bars. Sierra's been a mod for a long time, Sandy. It didn't just happen. She's been a mod for like 2 months at least. What are bitters? I think it's just some sort of a liquid. Yeah, what is? I mean, I remember I've tasted it before. I have it in my head. I don't know if it's like a little powder or what. I can't even remember now. Actually, she has been. Yeah, I mean, right. She's been a mod for a long time. Yeah, so it is a syrup. Okay. All right. Yeah, we got so many liquor experts in here. That's awesome. Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson told the 48 Hours podcast that Kohberger's movements and apparent familiarity with the home led to that belief. See, I think Kohberger, just from outside, you can see that there's a kitchen, and then you might even watch somebody in the kitchen, and then all of a sudden you see him going up the stairs. So you know the stairs is right over there. And then he might have known where Xana was because he chased her. You know, so to me, he didn't have to. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And as a matter of fact, I even said, yeah, I mean, I think it's very good chance because he's been there 23 times late at night. I think Kohberger would sit outside, look at the lights in the house, watch all of them get ready to go out. That's usually the time that people go out, is about 10 o'clock to go to the bars and go to parties and things like that. 8 o'clock's too early, so it's like 10. So he's probably parked behind there watching them get ready, and then they all leave together and go out to the parties. And then on those occasions, he may have gone into the house. Maybe he's even the person who broke the sliding glass door at some point, and the roommates just never fixed it, and they didn't really think about, like, oh man, that must have just got broken at a party or something. But maybe he's the one that broke that sliding glass door at some point. What do you think of that? The layout of the house is unique. It's a little bit confusing. Not at all. Now, Kohberger has entered the home shared by students through a sliding glass door in the kitchen on the second floor in the back of the house. Right, but that's right where he would be parking and watching. So that's the part that he knew. The move seems to have been from someone who knew its placement. Thompson said Kohberger's cell phone records show that he was stalking that neighborhood. So they couldn't really, they can just tell you maybe a distance from the tower, but not exactly where he was. But on Dateline, they said he was within 100 meters 23 times. And I've shown that before on here. If you go to the... Man, a lot of times there's Lewiston, Pullman, there it is. Right there. So here's the thing. 100 meters. Do you guys want to see what that looks like? I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty obvious at that point. So we do stuff like this on this channel so you can actually see what the hell they're talking about. That's what it looked like when I was just there. This is a new satellite footage from July 5th, which is, I was there like 2 weeks or something after that. But it looked just like that, just complete dirt there, nothing left. If you go back one satellite, they still have cement there. And then go to this one, and there's still the house. So watch. If you go right here, and let me move this to yard or meters. That's it. Isn't that very telling? If that's literally what they've got. Now, we don't know now because there's a lot of stuff that law enforcement it's not seemingly congruent with what some of these documentaries have said. But look at that. I mean, that is exactly the like inside the what do I call it? Not compound. Maybe I call it that. I don't know. But inside of here, look at that. See that? And he was in the inside of that 23 times. And there's the parking spot. He could have been parking over there. He could have been over here. He could have been over there. He could have been... It's crazy. Yeah, it's really close. And they say he was within that 23 time... Yeah, complex. There you go. I knew it sounded similar. It just didn't quite sound right when I said it. The complex is what I call it. That's in King Road and then out King Road. You cannot get out. A lot of people don't know this, you know, if you're new here. But there's only one way in right here, King Road, and there's no way out other than going back out on King Road right here. See, back here, you can drive back to there, but there isn't a road. This isn't a road right here. This is just a dirt hill that you have to walk up. You can drive around like this and go around and around if you want to. But then this is Linda Lane, and you can pull in back here, but you have to go back out this way to get out of Linda Lane. So there's no other way out other than King Road right there. So he would come in, do his loops, come around, and leave. All right, we're having one of those lulls again. We're almost there. Almost there. All right, let's see. The lighthouse is unique. Kohberger had entered the home, shared students through a sliding glass door. I think we already went through that. Brian Kohberger, judge considers releasing victims' photos. I don't know what the hell that even means. I'm sure he's not talking about crime scene photos. There's no chance. No chance in hell he's releasing those. Those records put the convicted murderer near the home after 10 p.m. Well, I think he was just watching him. I bet you he was there on party nights. Probably Friday night, Saturday night, and maybe Wednesday. There's oftentimes parties on Wednesdays at colleges, like Hump Day. And then Friday night, oh, of course, you know. And then Saturday night, you have your functions. So, you know, it's usually 3 party nights a week. And I bet you he was there mostly on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I'd like to see that, though, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like to see the dates and the information on the cast data? Yeah, we don't. The coffee function people aren't using very much. I'm not sure why. That's really important. The coffee right there. Consider supporting with the coffee. There's no percentage taken out like YouTube. Just thought she was cute and wanted her phone number. Huh? What are you talking about? Huh? I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Now I have to scroll up. Did they try to find footage of when Kaylee thought she was stalked at the grocery store? Yeah, that was that guy. She just wanted to... She wasn't being stalked. He was looking at patterns for sure. Yeah, I want to see that data. The investigators never uncovered any evidence that would definitely prove that. Yeah, it says Thompson believes Kohberger may have broken into the victim's home during one of these trips. Right, he might be the one that broke the actual... Hey, thanks, Lisa Valenzuela, for the coffee. He might be one of the ones that broke in... I mean, on one of those times, he's the one that broke the sliding glass door. But the girls there would just think it was probably like at one of the parties or something. Kohberger accepted a plea deal weeks before he was set to go to trial. Yeah. All right, so that's all that one was. And then let's see what People magazine. Police investigated Brian Kohberger after masked man with knife broke into the home of 4 sorority girls. I mean, that's pretty weird, isn't it? So that's the other incident. That's from 2021 October. That's on there. Yeah, they'll never release those crime scene photos. Somebody might nefariously release them if they have the same sort of mental makeup as the Delphi case. You know, the defense attorneys in there are disgusting people. You know, they think it's okay to put out crime scene photos and then pretend that they didn't know. All right, let's see. On October 10th, 2021, a female college student at Washington State University reported that a man in a ski mask and armed with a knife, I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? Broke into her home and then entered her bedroom. The man fled the home after the female student, who was likely believed to be sleeping, forcibly kicked him in the stomach as he stood over her bed. The attack happened at 3:30 a.m. I mean, that's crazy too. That's like exactly, you know, like Kohberger showed up in the area at 3:30 in an off-campus home where they left out an H. 4 sorority girls lived. Details similar to the Moscow murders, which would occur a little over 1 year later. It was also the same time, you know, like October. So November 13th, just a month later on the calendar. Police in Washington investigated Brian Kohberger after a college student reported that a man with a knife broke into her home and entered her bedroom. The incident happened on October 10th, 2021, 8 months before Kohberger moved to Washington and enrolled at Washington State University. But on the same weekend that the school's Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology hosted an event for prospective and incoming students. Well, we just read a minute ago that they didn't have that event. Hey, thanks, Derek Sherman. A broom handle could have easily fixed the slide. Yeah, well, they put the chairs in there when the cops got there. I'm never watching again. Ooh. Hey, look at Rogers said. But Gray, why are you so mean all the time? I'm never watching again. All right. Roger Sellers. You know what? That's what I should have a t-shirt that says I'm never watching again. There you go. Gray Hughes investigates. I'm never watching again. Tonight on NBC. Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny? Like a t-shirt that says, I'm never watching again. Yeah. I can't believe you had Gray on again, Vinny. Let's see, Pam, not working. Oh, cool, Amanda. What makes you like it? Some nights people hate my guts. I can tell you that. I'm not, like, some nights I'm, you know, it's just, it is what it is. I mean, I'm just a regular person like everybody else, so you know, you see me on every single possible, I don't know what you call it, version of me, I guess. Yeah, wouldn't that be sweet merch, though? I'm never watching again. Gray Hughes investigates. I'm never watching again. People go, what do you mean I'm never? I'm going to go check it out. What is that? That should be in my intro, by the way. That to get rid of the video and everything, just have that one thing. Why don't you have Gray on it? Why do you have Gray on again, Vinny? Oh, yeah. I'm never commenting again. Yeah. Reverse psychology, yeah. Yeah, exactly. What's the yuck for, Pamela? Nobody even knows. Let's see. Oh, Vinny. Hi. Yeah, so anyways, the authorities launched an investigation into Kohberger as a potential suspect in that other case less than 2 weeks after his arrest for the murders at University of Idaho. The police report in the Pullman case and probable cause affidavit in the Moscow murder detail two very similar suspects targeting very similar victims in a very similar setting at almost the exact same time with the same weapon. Well, when you say the same weapon, that's stupid. People magazine is so loose with the terms that they use. You know, they just, it's the same weapon? And it's not even anything. He just had a knife. You don't know it was a K-bar knife. A 20-year-old student called 911 to report that she woke up in the middle of the night to find a masked man with a knife entering her bedroom. People is choosing to withhold the name of the female. Oh, God, you're so great. Student because of the nature of the incident. That man then positioned himself at the foot of the bed, seemingly unaware that the female was now awake, at which point the female forcefully kicked him in the stomach. The armed intruder then fled the home, according to the young woman. At no point did the intruder speak, and the roommate, whose room was on the same floor of the home, later told police that while she did not see anything, she did hear someone loudly running up the stairs. Wow, that's weird. That's almost exactly the same. That roommate then called police after the female student who encountered the intruder came to her room and told her about the masked man with a knife. Well, in the the Idaho case, there wasn't nobody was able to come down and say anything. Police developed a few leads at first, but they all had alibis at the time of the attack, and within a few weeks the case went cold. When a possible break-in in the case came 14 months later, when Sergeant Christopher Engel began to investigate Kohberger as a possible suspect. Much like the Idaho murders, which he would later confess to, this was an attack that happened in the middle of the night at an off-campus home where a couple of young women were living. The four residents of the home in Pullman were also all sorority sisters, and just like Kohberger did during his attack, the intruder wore a ski mask and brandished a knife when he broke into the residence. I mean, he wasn't there at that time, though. Who knows, though, right? I mean, maybe he flew over there for some reason. That's pretty crazy, though. Yeah, but he didn't order the balaclava, though, until 2022 in December. I just think it's one that's just similar. All right, you guys, we're having one of those lulls. We need about what do we need? We need 10 more channel membership giftings, and then I'll donate 5 myself. All right, there you go. So you guys need, if you can get up to 10 channel membership gifted to people out there, then I'll gift 5 myself. Does that sound like a good plan? All right. 1, 2, 3. Dylan Mortensen, one of the 2 surviving roommates in Moscow, told police Kohberger was clad in black clothing and a mask on the night he murdered her 4 friends. What's more, both Kohberger and the suspect in the case entered the residence through an unlocked back door. Hey, thanks, Walker and Naomi. The investigation of Kohberger was brief, however, and shut down 9 days later when graduate program coordinator informed Sergeant Engel that there was no record of the future criminology student attending any campus events that weekend. Police did not appear to look into the possibility of Kohberger going on a non-sanctioned visit. Right, that's what I was thinking. Thanks, Walker. Naomi, hey, look at Mrs. W with 5. Very cool. Michelle H and CR, the membership gifting queen. 2, 7, 8, 9. Need 1 more there, and then I'll donate 5. And you want the merchandise that says, what is it called? I'm never watching again. Grant Hughes investigates. I'm never watching again. I don't know what that is. Every time I watch that video, even though it's me, I laugh at it. Like it makes me laugh every single time. I don't understand it. It's crazy. Yeah, I feel fortunate. Like everybody on this channel has been like, you know, day in and day out, they support my channel, and that's what's allowed the channel, however, on top of just the regular income a channel might generate, we've been able to donate $255,000, $250,000 since January of 2020, right out of the income from the channel. So I think that's pretty cool, you know. Just, it's hard to find something crazy about that. I'm never watching again. Maybe I know what I need to do is have like a cartoony, like I'll have my logo, but then my face where it's cartoony, but me going, ooh, the ooh, you know, like making the ooh, the fake cry thing. Hey, thanks there. Welcome, T. Ree, and then also Dale, Gallio. I think I got it right just right out of the gate that time. I mean, how are we supposed to know that the G doesn't make a sound? Man, that's tough. And Greg King, thank you. All right, well, here we go. Got some more here, and like a t-shirt with a push button hearing your voice. Well, use it as your phone ringtone. That's what somebody else was doing. There we go. All right. And yes, those also cost me $25 as well. But at the beginning of the month, you get 10 that you can give out free. So I gave out, 10 in the first 2 days. Now all the rest that I buy cost $25. Yeah, so welcome all the new members there. Kohberger would finish out his graduate studies at the school in May of 2022, and by July was living 2,500 miles away in Pullman preparing to begin his doctoral studies. I think that's just so interesting, though, that in April, does anybody remember what date that was? Well, in April, that's when he's communicating about applying for that internship with the Pullman Police Department. I mean, I think that's pretty significant information right there, because that means he wasn't even there yet. I actually always thought that he was there and he was like, ooh, an internship. But that's not how it went. He was applying for the internship while the K-bar knife was sitting on his counter. Don't you find that like just crazy? I might have to make a video on that one. What do you guys think of that? Maybe I'll just make a video tomorrow on that element. That's pretty interesting. I mean, so he's sitting there, the K-bar knife is sitting on his counter, and he's making appointments to work for the Pullman Police Department, knowing that the knife that he purchased was going to be used to kill somebody at some point. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, now let's switch over to that long one that I wanted to go over. I think Susan Hendrick had her eye on you the other night. Oh, come on, Jesus. No, we're just, it's interesting because she's covered the Delphi case. Maybe not quite as long as me, because I was covering it. Not covering it. I don't even know how to quantify it. Like, I was just in a Facebook group when they were missing, and we were. I made my first video was made on February 22nd, 8 days after the murders. And you know what's weird about that, you guys? The video that I made 8 days after the murders of the flow of the crime never changed. It's exactly the way the crime went down 7 years later at trial. Isn't that crazy? And I came up with it on my own, just looking at the footage that was out there from the media, where it was just pretty crazy. And that's why they contacted me. Robert Ives was like, man, I always wonder if they contacted me wondering, like, how did you know that? But it wasn't. They seemed like they were going to hire me to make graphics. Thanks, Pamela Dasgupta. Hey, you got it working today. All right. What are you referring to, Mariska? I'm always so far, like when I'm talking, I think you guys are about 20 seconds behind, so I'm not sure. All right, here we go. So this is that other article that's pretty long. Maybe we can read through it and kind of talk about each of the. Brian Kohberger, lead prosecutor, has one last message for convicted Idaho murder. No, I saw the craziest short video today. I know this is totally random, but let me just let me show you guys this. Tell me if this isn't funny. I sent it to Chasing Truth because I know she has dogs similar. There, look at this. Look at this thing. Look at this. Look at these dogs. Look at them. Kimmy, I just want to eat it. I just want to eat some. Can I eat it right now? I just want to eat this. I just want to eat it. Oh, look at that. Look at the faces on those damn things. I just want to eat it. I just want to eat it. Look at that one. He just can't control himself. He's just... Look at that. And then he makes... I don't know what it was. This thing just made me laugh. Look at this. Dinner is served, but you're going to have to wait for each bite here as we cut these little pieces off. Oh my God, I don't know why that's just so funny. Look at this. Anyways, I don't know what that is. I just think it's, yeah, they were cute, plus it was just funny. I just saw that earlier. Hey, I thought maybe you guys would think that was funny. Hey, look at Cuckoo. Their first super chat on a live stream. Well, thank you. Very kind, very kind. That is just crazy, though. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. In the interview, which was released as a special 48 Hours podcast, Thompson opens up about the immense pressure of the Kohberger case, the controversy surrounding the plea deal, and explains his judgment call on the agreement that didn't include a requirement for Kohberger to provide a full confession. Then it says, Peter Van Sant said, what was it like to be the lead prosecutor in the Brian Kohberger case, a case that captured the world's attention with seemingly everyone looking over your shoulder and commenting on your every legal move? And how did that plea deal come to be, and why was there no speculation that Kohberger provide key answers? What does that mean? Stipulations, excuse me. That there was no stipulations, that didn't make sense, so I figured I made a mistake. And how did that plea deal come to be, and why was there no... That's what we always wanted to know. Like, why the hell didn't they get answers? Today I'm speaking with Latah County, Idaho Prosecutor Bill Thompson. He has worked on the case from day one. I think this is like the script here. This is inside the Brian Kohberger case, the Idaho murders. Probably went... This is inside the Brian Kohberger case, the Idaho student murders. Probably need the, where is that? Is it this one? Ominous, probably dark times. Yeah, this one will sound good. This is inside the Brian Kohberger case. The Idaho student murders. I'm 48 Hours correspondent, Peter Van Sant. Yeah, anyways. I'm sure they probably had a little bit better production value when they did that. Let's see. Peter Van Sant. I don't need to have that on. He said, "It's great to be with you, Bill. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us what it was like for you to be in the center of this case and literally commanded attention all around the world?" Bill Thompson said, "Well, I didn't feel like I wanted to be at the center of the case, so it's really just a team effort. This was a huge team effort. I've been the prosecutor here for over 30 years now. I've never seen this degree of coordination with agencies like the FBI and the Idaho State Police, as well as our Moscow Police Department." Hey, thanks Pamela Dasgupta with 5 channel memberships. And welcome Winston Sayre, Sherry Raskin, Lang, Donna Rhodes, and Kat. Van Zant said, "You're the quarterback, kind of team captain, and all the social media pressure. Did you feel that during the course of all of this? Did you pay any attention to it, or did you try to brush that aside?" I mean, but see, you should just let him have a more open-ended question than that. Actually, I don't watch social media. We made our decisions based on what the law was and what the evidence was. And that, I think that's cool. That's how it should be. Don't you think it's weird when a YouTuber says, you know, like, I gotta cover this case the way my viewers want me to. I mean, don't you think that they should cover it where the facts lead them? You know, not where somebody wants them, you know, what people want them. I just think that's weird. I just, so that's what he's doing. He's like, yeah, I don't really care. I just go where the facts are. He said, we were pretty successful at insulating ourselves from what the swings of public opinion might be out there on the internet. Hey, Bill, I have to tell you, during the sentencing hearing, I have never, as a reporter who's been in dozens and dozens of courtrooms, I've never seen such emotion as I witnessed during that hearing. Both you and the judge were moved to tears. What is it about this case that touches you so personally? Well, if it was me being asked that, I would say the sheer brutality and also taking the lives of just innocent college students that had no connection to the killer, and they were just living their lives like they always did. Had a great day. Everything was totally normal leading up to Kohberger coming in and killing them. Let's see what he says. Well, it's so sad. It's very possible, in every possible sense. I mean, we've dealt with many homicide cases, unfortunately, during my time here as the prosecutor. But this one just was so sad, such a loss of life. These young people who know 4 people killed in their home in the middle of the night. These young people, 4 people killed in their home in the middle of the night. It was just simply cruel and heartless, and feeling for those families and feeling for the 2 surviving roommates. My goodness. I was sitting right next to one of them as she was giving her statement, and she asked that we block her view of the defendant. That's Dylan Mortensen. That's why I was sitting kind of at a funny angle, but that was overwhelmingly powerful, pure honesty and emotion from this young woman, and such strength. I think Dylan Mortensen was, I thought it was absolutely amazing that Dylan Mortensen was there. For somebody that has been attacked so viciously by many people out there, and I think some people attack without really thinking about what they're doing, because what you're doing is by attacking Dylan Mortensen, you're almost trying to say that she's part of the crime, and she's not. So because she didn't act the way you think you would have acted, that's the problem with it. It's irrelevant to the case. Unless you believe Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk were conspiring with Brian Kohberger, then discussing, unless you believe that, then discussing it is irrelevant. And that's why it was always bothering me over and over. It was cool to see how it all went down in there by reading the documents. But it's just absolutely irrelevant to the case. And nobody would have saved anybody's life or anything. And so that's kind of where I stand on it. That's why I didn't talk about that part. I mean, as a matter of fact, I always shut people down. Like, even in the comments under my videos, I'll just block people. If they start just absolutely attacking Dylan and Bethany still to this day even, I mean, they're just gone. I don't have time for that. And I think everybody should be like that towards those people. I understand wondering why, and like, wow, how come they didn't call? But so even that process means that you're sort of questioning their involvement, right? Because why do you care? If you don't think they're involved, then it just doesn't matter anymore, right? Because it has nothing to do with the case. I wish Dylan Mortensen would sue about 10 of these YouTubers out there. Like a class action suit against all of them. I mean, it's just, I think the way she was treated, I mean, I'm shocked that she was able, I was actually dumbfounded that she was there. I thought somebody was just going to read a statement from her. And she should be incredibly proud of herself for being there. That must have been really tough. All right. Probably lost some subs there. Oh, great, I hate her because she should have called him in. Well, goodbye. I'm never watching again. There we go. Me too. I feel terrible for her. Yeah. Now you would actually wear that shirt, right, you guys? You guys are so far behind me. It's crazy. Let's see where. Okay, we're right there. And then Peter said, and it was remarkable. And for Dylan Mortensen, after what she had experienced, so there you go, through social media. Yeah, see, boom, right here. She just said it all from the heart. It brought that, teared me up. I mean, she was just a remarkable person. What was it like for you to listen to her? Bill Thompson said, oh, it was almost overwhelming, but I saw her strength and I knew that we needed to be strong with her and for her. Boom. That's exactly what I feel like. Let's see what Walker said. The people throwing accusations at Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk remind me of the same people in Salem burning women for being witches. Yeah, it is kind of like that. It's like, what are you doing? Sure, maybe you wouldn't have called 911, but these people were drunk, and it just worked. That they never saw. They just hoped that it wasn't as bad as they thought. That's it. They didn't want to go check. And by the way, do you think it'd be easy? You see this guy walk by, and you think, man, maybe something really bad happened. Would you really want to, in the middle of the night, walk over to look into Xana's room and see the horror? She didn't want to see the horror. And so they chose to do something else. Like, they just didn't want to verify the fear that something bad happened. And I've said this since the beginning. And some people are like, yeah, that makes sense. And some people, they just can't get over it. They can't get over it. It's like this overwhelming thing that just keeps eating them. My God, how come they didn't call 911? Something's off here. Well, it just isn't, man. Makes complete sense to me. I get it. Really? You'll buy it if I make those shirts? maybe you guys should send me designs of "I'm never watching again" T-shirts, and then I'll put it out there. Or maybe I'll just make one, a cartoon of me going, "Ooh." I think she didn't even want to think something really bad. I know. Yeah, she just totally. Yeah. These murders were brutal. Peter Vance, Bill, you have been in the house where these students were brutally murdered. You saw the blood. You've seen what was done to these students' bodies. How do you describe the crimes that Brian Kohberger committed? These crimes, these murders were brutal. I think that's exactly what I said a minute ago. We've seen plenty of homicides, and each one is different. But this one, that you'll never be able to erase from your eyes and from your memory. But this is one that you'll never be able to erase from your eyes and your memory. Were you actually inside that house while the victims were still present? And then Bill said, yes. Ashley Jennings, my senior deputy, and I were both on scene on November 13th. We were in the house. And this is all new to me. I haven't seen any of this stuff. We were working with the investigators and seeing firsthand what was going on with the crime scene. With the crime scene, then he says, look like. It's part of our philosophy. We work with our officers right from the very beginning, but it brings with it some challenge, and this certainly brought physical, emotional challenges with it. Man, I couldn't just imagine, you go in there and you're just looking at these 4 students and then having to walk outside and sort of try to look normal so you're not giving away anything to the media. But if you're out there, you guys, you're watching the channel, you want to help support the channel, it would be great to, get more channel memberships. We got the buy me a coffee options. We've got all kinds of options out there. Maybe trying to have last month we did pretty good at the end of the month to be able to donate $4,000. After the channel, I have an income for the channel, and then after that I'm able to give away quite a bit. So that's how we've been doing it. We've given 26,000 out so far this year. And then he said, Peter Van Sant, you've also been in the same room as Brian Kohberger. You've looked into the man's eyes, and you've watched his reactions during these victim impact statements. What did you see? I saw nothing in Brian Kohberger while the impact statements were going on. It's as though his eyes were empty. Yeah, that's exactly right. Kohberger is... I think the reason the case was so interesting to me was... and it's still interesting because there's new information coming out, but I mean, how often do you get cases where, this is like a serial killer in the making. This isn't like any of these other ones that we just were watching, the Tennessee case, the McGann case, or Austin Drummond. Or maybe McGann. McGann might be something like that, to be honest with you. I think he is, but, this Austin Drummond one, there's going to be a motive and everything. There isn't really one in the Kohberger case. He's one of the spooky type, where they don't really come around too often in the cases out there where this is like literally what a serial killer would be doing, and he was probably going to go on to become one. He just did a mass killing on the first one. I think he intended to only kill one person, but Kaylee Gonzalez woke up to Madison being attacked, and then Xana came upstairs, and then that led back to Xana's room, where he then killed Xana and Ethan. And I think there would only be one dead person in that house had it been quiet and Kaylee wasn't in that room. That's my opinion. There's some people that might think that Kaylee's room would be where he would have gone, but I don't know. I don't, that's not what I think. What is what? I have no idea what you're talking about, Maciel. Nobody knows what you're saying. What is that? Context, please. How about you type a full sentence in so we know what you're talking about? I don't draw well since I shake. Even the GHI logo and, let's see, M10, I agree, he was just getting started. He didn't enjoy Olivia at all. Hey, welcome, Callie. Is that the, you get the, there's Callie. Then we've got up here, Walker, the people throwing accusations. And up here, Pamela Dasgupta. I like saying that name. I probably don't even say it right. Am I saying it right, Pamela? Maybe you can give me the phonetic spelling. He probably liked, she doesn't know everything. I don't know what you guys are referring to. I guess I'll just keep going here. I saw nothing in Brian Kohberger while the impact statements were going on. He made eye contact with each of these people completely unmoved. No reaction, no remorse, no tears. What does that tell you about this man? What is inside him, if anything? I don't know how to answer that, Bill Thompson said. He's an enigma to me. The evil that he committed is incomprehensible. In many cases, when I'm in court, I'm engaging directly with the defendant. I think I did it once at the sentencing, and that was just to point out that he wasn't going to leave prison until he was dead, and that was it. I don't care to ever interact with him again. I'd be happy to never hear his voice again and never see him. That's kind of interesting that he never had any contact with Kohberger until that time. I figured they would have these little meetings where they'd sit around and talk about stuff. Well, of course he didn't like Olivia's statement. Olivia's statement was genius. Olivia's statement was she became exactly the person that Kohberger hates. A strong, beautiful woman who just absolutely laid the hammer down and emasculated him into oblivion. And he couldn't do a damn thing about it. That's what was so great about it. Okay? I mean, I wish I could just put a big cheer, and it was freaking amazing. And he deserved every second of that. And I think, and by the way, she did, I mean, I don't communicate with her all the time, but she did say in a text to me, I mean, a message on Facebook, that she was going to, she had that all planned, and then she switched over to just sort of more generic impact statement. But then when her father flipped the podium around, she said that's when she decided to go with what her gut was originally. And she told me that before it was out in the media. And there's some people, I said, hey, because I got somebody in the comments under my video said that I made that up, that I just stole that from interviews that were online, and that's just not the case. I've even shown a couple people the actuals, look, I just want to show you that I did have these conversations. I'm not going to play that over and over again. Yeah, but she was awesome. Hey, thanks, Ted Bundy. Isn't that amazing? I get super chats from serial killers. And believe it or not, I had in a case a few years back. What was the name of that one again? God, I never remember. But there was a serial killer-like person who abducted a girl after a concert out of her house, and then he killed her, and then he commented in my comment section saying, like, oh, the cops, they, if they did a better job almost, they would catch me, something like that. And then they finally arrested him, and then I think on the second go-around, second trial, he got convicted. But it's interesting how they actually make comments on your videos. And then Peter said, Bill, I want to ask you a question. I know you've been asked this already a bunch of times, but as you well know, everyone, the families and friends of those students, the public at large, everyone is vexed by the question of why did he do this? Do you have a theory? See, I haven't heard the answers to any of these. Have you guys? I mean, maybe you listened to the podcast. I don't know. I don't know why he did this. Early on in the investigation, when we had folks from the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit, their profiler, they were here helping with the investigation in the first few weeks as they were looking at the case. Even just the little we knew, then they were telling us in all likelihood we would never find out or understand why this occurred. See, that's crazy. That means they already knew it was a serial killer-like person. And even if the murderer were to tell us the reasons, that in all likelihood it wouldn't make sense to ordinary people like ourselves. See, that's pretty cool. That means the FBI knew, even back then, that this guy was likely a serial offender type. Thanks, Derek Sherman, who gifted a membership to Mr. T51. Peter Van Sant. So we know that Kohberger had done some homework. He'd studied past crimes. Is it within the realm of possibility that for Kohberger this was a thrill kill? Well, I mean, of course you're going to have to say, sure, it's a possibility. I don't think we can rule out it. Yeah, there you go. We can't rule out anything. I mean, he certainly is a criminal justice major. He was studying criminal behavior. He studied serial killers. We know that the investigators recovered textbooks on those topics and that were part of classes he was taking. He studied how to manage a crime scene, and that was evidence that we were prepared to offer at trial to help explain why this particular crime scene was so clean of incriminating evidence, and his car was so clean of incriminating evidence. There was a lot of thought and preparation put into that. See, that's crazy, because, yeah, we talked about all that same stuff, too, and that's exactly why he, I mean, if there's anybody out there, so here's what you got to look at. It was kind of surprising, right? Like, put a 1 if it was, here, we can do a poll here. All right, let's just do that. So this is the thing. Like, on this question right here, instead of putting a 1, you can just answer it. Yeah, I would think most people would say yes. Forget without knowing that he took these classes, okay? So you guys are answering, because you know it now, okay? Everybody would say yes, that the crime scene and his car was totally clean. And other than the knife sheath that had that little tiny bit of DNA on the underside of the button snap. Okay, we don't have 4,000 people watching, by the way, just letting you know. But that's the, okay? And then you got the Kohberger nut jobs out there. They say stuff like, how could Kohberger be in there and not leave anything at the crime scene? And why was it, and then you say to yourself, Well, whoever committed the crime didn't leave anything, right? So who's more likely to not leave anything at the crime scene? A Joe Schmo off the street or a criminology doctoral student who wrote a paper on how to not contaminate a crime scene? You see what I'm saying? That's how we looked at it over here. It's like, yeah, I mean, he's the person out of all the people out there that you would think. I mean, that is the answer. Like, you go, oh, wow, how could anybody not do that? How could his car not have anything in it? Well, because he's a freaking, he knew this stuff. He made sure. By the way, we just did the video I just put out recently. At 4:19, they believe he's already left the house, and that is why Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk are on the phone already, because they know that he left. Okay, and I think he left at like 4:18 something. You know what I was actually wondering is that sound that you hear, the thud, and right before that, is that actually could be the final chasing, like, hey, hey, and then he stabs her and then she hits the ground. I mean, that's what's weird about that. When I listen to it again, it sounds like that could be what that is. It's really crazy. But anyways, I think he went outside and he did blood spatter mitigation, right? Because if he's leaving the house at 4:19, and it literally takes probably 20 seconds to get to your car, and he doesn't drive away until 4:20 and 47 seconds, so that's like a minute and a half before he drove away. What's funny, Eva? That's probably on rewind. But that's before he drove away. He sat outside, took his bloody clothing off. I don't know if he sat down, but he went outside. He took his clothing off. It probably wasn't saturated with blood. He didn't look like Sissy Spacek in the movie Carrie. And he just took it off, and then his gloves last, put it in the bag, and then put that in another bag, and then put it in the car, and just made sure that there was very minimal, of any, blood in that car. Then he spent weeks cleaning the hell out of that thing because he knew about this. So there you go. I mean, that is the answer. And we've been saying this for a long time. I know we have a lot of newer people watching, but we've had this case nailed for 2 years. I mean, as soon as the probable cause came out, that was it. He was already locked in, and then it got worse and worse and worse for Kohberger. I don't know what he's going to do after college. So we know that Kohberger had done some homework. He studied past crimes. Is it within the realm of possibility that Kohberger did a thrill kill? And then Thompson said, he studied how to manage crime scene, and that was evidence that we were prepared to use. Okay, we did that. And then down here it said, when I talk to people about this case, people know that there are Ring doorbells and security cameras that pick up automobiles in the area, and everyone knows about DNA. How would you describe he meticulously seemed to prepare for this, and yet he made some mistakes? Well, he made one. I mean, his vehicle is another, but the key mistake is leaving the knife sheath at the crime scene with his DNA on it. Like I've said before, if he left the knife sheath there without his DNA on it, you could have made a really strong circumstantial case after determining Brian Kohberger is your suspect, because you still would have found out that he bought that exact same make and model. If he didn't leave the knife sheath there, then the case gets way more complicated, because you could still say, well, we think this is him. There's a white Elantra missing a front plate at the same time frame that his vehicle is, where his phone is turned off. That looks good. And look at this. He bought a knife on Amazon that could have been used in the murders. But that's all you really kind of have, is stuff like that. The bushy eyebrows, whatever. You wouldn't be able to make a strong enough case. With the knife sheath there, even with no DNA on it, it's a really incredibly strong, powerful case. Wait, hold on. Yeah, we're going over because I want to know what actually happened, Tony. I still want to know what the hell happened in this case and figure out all the details, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, as things come out. And if you're not interested, Tony, go back with your Kohberger buddies. I'm sure they'll love to have you over there while you're still digging into Brent Kopacka. God, what a bunch of losers. My God. All right. So, let's see. Where are we at here? Yes, that's a biggie mistake he made. Yeah, well, the knife sheath with his DNA was just a absolute, like, no-brainer because the DNA led back to a person who has a wide launcher missing a front plate. I mean, that's what's just crazy. That's why even after the probable cause came out, I was just like, this guy's toast. He has no chance. Yeah, I just want to keep, I want to have a full understanding of what all the information. I really hope the FBI puts out what they have. I think it's a totally different piece of information. Yeah, or what if they didn't look into it, Grant, after, like, let's say, oh, the battle's over, forget it. We don't need to see how it went down, Like there's a whole battle that went on between two countries, and then it's over. So you go, okay, we don't need to write about it. We don't need to learn how it went down. We don't need to know about any of this. Let's move on now. No, you need to, for historical reasons, learn what the hell happened. But hey, you guys, we're on one of those massive lulls again. So if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be great. We just got a letter from RAINN. We've given RAINN $29,700 and something bucks over the last 5 years. So that's what allows us to be able to do that. My channel, I mean, the way it works is I have ad revenue, super chats, all of that. If my channel only brought in like 7,000 or 8,000 gross income, then there would be very little left to donate because you have to have enough to survive as a channel. So I have to make videos and do all these other things to bring in an income large enough to be able to give thousands out too. I want to see what the the FBI, I think they have totally different stuff, different pieces of information. Thanks, Roger Sellers. I'm never watching again. You almost need to have a little button on it that you pull, and it says that. Yeah. Now, we might, I think Kohberger is going to give out a version. And, we'll know if it's true or not, right? Don't you think? Like, if he gave out a version, you would probably know if it was true. And the reason you would know if it was true is if the version he gives out makes him look terrible. Right? Then you'd go, well, shit, I think he's telling the truth. But if it's something like that's a little bit blaming somebody and saying this and forget it at that point, right? But if it comes out and it just makes him look terrible, when I grew up, I just, I was always awkward with women. I grew to hate them, and then I was reading about Elliot Rodger, and I was kind of like, yeah, man, that's something I want to do. And I just picked him at random, and I killed him. I'd absolutely believe that. Wouldn't you? I mean, it's like, that makes him look horrendous. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, but if he says something that's sort of, well, they were mean to me on social... Okay, well, there you go. Forget it. Right? Well, how would... Okay, and then... so a minute ago I just said... And everyone knows that about DNA. How would you describe he meticulously seemed to prepare for this, and yet he made some mistakes? Bill Thompson said, well, no plan is perfect, and we don't know what may have changed his plans if it did inside the home, because we don't know who he intended to attack first. We do believe that Xana encountered him, while she was still awake. She was up. She received a DoorDash order and very likely could have put him into a panic and panicked before people make some mistakes, or maybe it's just simply he's not as smart as he thought he was. We'll never know for sure, and we really don't need to know for sure. We look at, this is how he said it, we look at where this investigation went. They started out with one sample of DNA from a knife sheath. It was from a single male unknown source, and the car leaving the scene. So this is exactly what we've said. I mean, I swear to God, man, this is like, that's the investigator. That's what the investigators had. That's what Kohberger left behind. And from there, the team put the case together to where he was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no question. I totally agree with that. See, I'm agreeing with like everything that Bill Thompson's saying in this. Mostly. Let's see. BK's parents wouldn't find it a little odd that BK is cleaning his car. Well, remember, that's what in the books it said that the sister was like, why is he doing that? We got to go check his car. Thanks, Derek. Right. So basically the way it worked is they found they already had a car, a white Elantra, driving around. Then they found other surveillance footage of the same white Elantra in the area. Then they got the DNA sample, and it turns out, I wish he'd worded it like that because that's how it went. They already had the white Elantra driving around. They didn't get the name of Kohberger and then go, ooh, look, there's surveillance. They already had the surveillance. They asked the public for help identifying a white Elantra before the arrest, so it's obvious. As a matter of fact, that was in November they were asking for that. So they already had this picture of a white Elantra driving around, and then the DNA came back, and if you were the prosecutor and the FBI came back and told you, hey, listen, we've identified an individual named Brian Kohberger as a tip, you might want to look into him. And then you look into Brian Kohberger, and he drives a white Elantra, missing a front license plate, and they're Pennsylvania plates, and he's a doctoral student in criminology. Wouldn't you just go, bingo? I mean, it's just like you got the guy right now. Yeah, I think they're sharing information, but I think they have more in the realm of like the internet. I think they kind of kept some stuff separate, perhaps, because apparently they might have another case against him had it not worked out. So I don't know. Who cares? Anyways, it's just must have been. I mean, yeah, that must have been so awesome. I think M10, like right at that moment, they knew we've got the guy. Yeah. I think that they just sort of had a separate thing going, and they have different information. And I think that might be where some of the genesis of the Dateline episode came from. I think the FBI is actually the source for Dateline's episode. They went boom, that's right. You know, in those weeks after the murder, let's see, that's what the investigators had. That's what Kohberger left behind, and from there, the team put the case together. Okay. Then Peter Van Zandt said, you know, in those weeks after the murder, when the public was getting more and more frustrated, that they felt as though the progress was being made, no progress was being made. Progress. In fact, progress was being made. It's just you can't reveal it, right? And then Bill Thompson said, correct. Wait, hold on. Jesus.
Correct.
Yes, whenever investigation is going on, the investigators aren't going to compromise what they know. That's important to protect the quality of the investigation. It was a bit satisfying when we finally were able to come public with the charges and the basis for the charges, and to see the skeptics out there scratch their heads and say, oh yeah, these folks really did know what they were doing. And Peter Van Zandt said, I know you talked about this quite a bit, but the fact that the defense team came to you seeking a deal, doesn't that mean that you had the leverage in this case? That essentially you were holding all the cards? That since Brian Kohberger clearly now wanted to live. So help me out on this. Because even the President of the United States weighing in on this issue. Why didn't you put a stipulation into the deal where Kohberger would have to have honestly answered all questions about these murders to the satisfaction of detectives before his plea deal, or this plea deal, could be finalized? Why didn't you do that? I think what they missed, the one question that they should have said was, have him tell you where the knife is. The other part, sure, he might lie on, but the knife is something that you could just say, you either tell us where the knife, if we can't find the knife after you telling us where it is, the deal's off. Okay, do you got that? Why are you lost? I don't get it. What happened? What's happening? So he doesn't, and I think it was a bad call. However, if he tries to do an interview that is somewhat believable, he'll need to talk, but he won't. I don't know. I think he's going to give an interview to make money for his family. I would almost bet money on that. All right, guys, we're doing the massive lull thing again. Let me get rid of that. So look at everybody's, like, there isn't a soul in here that everybody should have said yes, but the trolls say no on what was it surprising how clean the car and no evidence at the crime scene other than the sheath. Yes. Right? That's 100% yes for everybody. The only reason you say no is because you realize he's a criminology student. I should have put in there, before knowing that he wrote a paper on this, would it have been surprising? And the answer should have been yes for every single person. What do you mean hard to keep up with what? I don't get it. Let's see. Also, yeah, I mean, I don't understand why that part. But anyway, let's see what his answer is. Well, and you know, Judge Hippler talked about this at the time of sentencing. There is nothing that I believe that Mr. Kohberger could say that would shed the actual truth on what happened. If he were to talk, he would only say things to benefit it. Well, you wouldn't know until he says it, though, right? That would further victimize the families. That's what we've seen repeatedly over the years, and in particularly in major cases. Under Idaho law, there's no way we could compel him to disclose. And if we've gone to trial, he would never even acknowledge the guilt. He would have just moved into appeal time. Yeah, so it was good that they got him to say that, yes, he did it. So it was our conclusion that straight-up guilty pleas as charged and waiver of appeal for closure, so we have accountability and closure with fixed life sentences was the best course. Oh, I see. I thought you were talking about the show. Let's see, Bill, based on my experience and with my colleagues on 48 Hours, we cover murder cases for a living. I had a story in which, in a plea deal, the defendant was it was contingent on the defendant agreeing to show where this might be the answer, where he disposed of a body. And a colleague of mine had a case in another state where the plea deal stipulated that not only did they have to show where the body was, but give a narrative of how that person committed the crime, and it answered all sorts of questions for the families. You guys didn't. Decided not to do that, and why not at least try? I don't understand that. Yeah, well, why don't you talk about the weapon, Peter? You were right on the right track, but you didn't do that. Well, and I understand what you're saying, and I certainly understand and hear from the families and members of the public who will always have the question, why? As we viewed this and looking at the circumstances, I don't believe, by the way, that Bill Thompson thought he wasn't ever going to tell the truth. He came up with that at the hearing as a sort of an out for himself. But I think he just didn't do it. He was scared that Kohberger wouldn't agree and then, just accepted it. I certainly understand and hear from the families and members of the public who will always have the question, why? As we viewed this and looked at the circumstances of the case, it was our conclusion and ultimately my conclusion. I'll take responsibility. I'm the elected prosecutor, so it stops with me. But it was our team's decision that getting the guilty pleas, straight up, factually guilty pleas, was going to be the best legal way to approach this. Boom. See, he left out that other part. I think that there were concerns that somebody like this particular defendant, if he was trying to allocute in a specific factual fashion, he would actually undermine the basis for the plea, and the judge would not have as solid of a foundation to uphold the plea. So we analyzed this really from a pretty strict legal factual point of view. So, right, it had nothing to do with he's going to lie. I knew that. See that? This part right here admits that. It's not to say that we don't understand and appreciate folks' desires to know what really happened, but I have no faith at all that Mr. Kohberger would ever truthfully explain what happened or what he would say would make any sense. And I think that that would even further victimize our family. But why not challenge him on that? Why not see if you might get some honesty from him? Right. Like, why not get the information from him? But you don't have to, like, you just got it from him for information. It's not part of the written plea or anything like that. He doesn't have to allocute. He just gives it to you on the side. I'm glad that Van Sant keeps pushing on this. That's cool that he's doing that. But man, you guys, this massive lull is getting depressing in here. This is one of those nights where we could make some difference on some of these other nights that we had earlier. So if you're out there and you want to get some channel memberships for people, that would be awesome. Maybe, I know we already reached the number where I donate the 5, but, that's just the lowest number to get to just break kind of even for the month, like where you get to a certain point. But what we're trying to do is get over on specific nights to be able to donate the thousands at the end of the month. All right, so if you're out there, you guys, pretend you just got served a meal at a restaurant and you're just tipping the waiter, okay? I'm the waiter and you're eating the meal. Right? Because it's just whenever it dies down like this, it gets kind of like, oh man, it's going to be tough. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Peter, and we have considered that, and we decided that our best, I think we did that. It is true that you personally opposed to the death penalty. Okay, so you kept pushing on it. You got to hear. Yeah, I hear that what you're saying, Peter, and we have considered that, and we decided that our best course on this case with the defendant in Idaho was to proceed as we did. I'm not going to say the decision was perfect. It certainly doesn't perfectly answer anybody's question. I realize that. But I also accept that, as I said earlier from the beginning, we were advised by profiling professionals that even if the person, I guess he did have that, who committed these homicides tries to explain the reasoning in what occurred, that it wouldn't make sense to ordinary people. So who cares that it wouldn't make sense to ordinary people? It might be the truth, though. It was a judgment call. I accept it. It was a judgment call. Well, good for Peter for continuing. Hey, thanks, Roger Sellers. Yeah, me too, Callie. Like, right at first I was angry, but I think he got, like, about the best you could. Yeah, because here's what I look at it like this, Callie. Like, think about it like this. Let's say you go to trial and he's found guilty, which I think was a given. It's also possible that you would have been like a hung jury because there would have been a nut job Kohberger on there. Then you'd have to do another trial, and you go to that trial, and then eventually you'd be found guilty. And then you get to the sentencing phase, and there's a good chance that on that jury, one of them would be, I just think he made a good case. I think he's got autism or whatever, and I can't give him the death penalty. And then, guess what? He gets all the same sentence, life in prison without parole and all that. But he gets to appeal over and over and over again. Right. And so that's what we've said on this channel many times. So we agree. I've been saying that same thing. Nobody would find him not guilty with the others. Well, no, that's not true, M10. Those Kohberger types, if they got on that jury, it's called jury nullification. That wouldn't matter what was presented. They would come out and say not guilty. And it'd be a hung jury, and then you'd have to start all over again until you finally got a jury without a nut job on there. Yeah, I mean, the thing about the plea deal, if it was me, I'd be more like Steve Gonsalves. I'd want it to go to trial. Yeah, I know he'd be found guilty, but you just don't know with a Kohberger on there. I mean, don't you guys hear what I say? It's just weird. You guys keep repeating as if you didn't hear the sentences I said. Sure, the evidence is so overwhelming he'd be found guilty. However, we don't know that because the Kohbergers have put out so much garbage, and there's so many people that were believing that crap that one of them could have got on that jury, and it wouldn't matter what was sold. They'd think it was a vast conspiracy, and they would have said not guilty. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Hey, thanks, Ryan Shaw. Thanks, Gray. Thanks, Gray, you bastard. Do you think we ever get a picture from inside the house? Nah. They might give a picture inside the house after the bodies were removed. I was wondering about that. I mean, if there's ever a video released of a walkthrough after they've been removed, man, what a creepy video that would be. Yeah. So, anyways, so I would be more like Steve Gonsalves. I'd want to go to trial and try to get the death penalty. But I think the fact that if there's any family at all that doesn't want is okay with it, then you got to go with that. Because is it really your right, because you just want to go for the death penalty, to force the rest of the families that are okay with the plea deal to go through 20 years of appeals and showing up to court and always wondering? I don't know. If they were all on the same page, then I wouldn't give a damn what Bill Thompson thought. He should have gone for the death penalty. Do you guys agree with that? Like, what difference? I mean, if all the family members were like, no, we're going to go for the death penalty, this guy's a monster, and he went with the deal, then I'd be really, really pissed at him. And everybody should be pissed at him because that's not what anybody wanted. But it turns out that like basically 60% of the family members wanted the deal because they want to be able to focus on their other kids and kind of move forward through life knowing that that person will never get out, etc. And so you can kind of see that, right? I mean, no, wait, what did Paulette say? I recently watched a father found not guilty in an attempted honor killing. Was he actually found not guilty in that case? Oh, wow. That's crazy. You got to be kidding me, Paulette. Man, I thought that was going to be like a no-brainer. What about the mom? And you know why? You know what's crazy about that honor killing case? You know what's crazy about that is that the honor killing case, the judge ruled, I mean, what a pile of shit this judge is, that the reason that she was being attacked by an arranged marriage and an attempted, like an honor killing attempt, wasn't able to be told to the jury, that you couldn't tell them. The state of Washington, you know what kind of judge that's going to be then, right? Yeah, that's just sick, man. I didn't realize that. I didn't know what the sentence was. I never checked. Or he was found not guilty, huh? So what did he get? Nothing? There was no assault charge or anything? Both were found not guilty. What a joke. And the jury didn't get to know that she was being forced to marry somebody. That girl is in trouble. If I was that girl, I'd run the hell away and hide somewhere. And if something happens to that girl, the judge should be thrown in prison. Okay? And I actually believe that. You know, it's just like these judges out there who let like sex offenders out and they attack other people. I think you, judge, should be thrown in prison for allowing that. You are complicit in what they did because you decided that they were okay to push back onto society. Yeah, that's just crazy, man. Okay, so he got... How much time can you get in prison for that, Paulette? For second and fourth degree assault. God, that's a joke. The judge literally wouldn't let the victim, who was on the stand, say why she was being attacked. I mean, that is disgusting. That judge is... If anything happens to that girl, you know, that the judge's fault. That's whose fault that is. Yeah, I watched it like one day and just kind of knew what the deal was. I saw the attack and I knew what the arguments were going to be. What would you have voted, Paulette? Like, did the evidence show that he wasn't guilty? You know, they couldn't prove that he was like squeezing her neck or something. Yeah, anyways. All right. It was a judgment call. Is it true that you are personally opposed to the death penalty? You know, I don't know that I have a strong feeling one way or the other. I'm kind of like that. I'm pro death penalty, but not in the current form, because as many people have been exonerated off of death row because of DNA evidence, it shows you that we've executed many people in this country who did not commit the crime. So until we get to a point where you are absolutely, like, the evidence, the death penalty should be rare, and it should be when a specific evidentiary sort of conglomeration of evidence is met. You know, you don't just go, oh, somebody saw that guy? Okay, yeah, death penalty. Yeah, forget it. Right? So I think it should be more rare and life without parole more common. Yeah, but I think I heard about that. He can appeal, because anybody can appeal anything. You just send the document in. But when the judges look at it, they're going to go, oh, he said he signed a document that he can't appeal, then they're not even going to listen to it. It won't be accepted. So anybody can appeal anything. It's like, you know, like people can sue anybody and sue everybody. Kohberger can throw out an appeal, but then the argument from the state will be he signed the document, he confessed to doing it, and he waived his right to appeals. And the judge is going to say, okay, and that's it. It's just done. You see how that works? No, that won't matter. I'm just telling you how it's going to work. You know, it's not risky or anything. He's going to go in there and he's going to try to appeal, and then the prosecution's going to hand the judge who's looking at it the document that says he's waived his right to appeals, and that's it. Then he's going to turn it, have him walk back out the door the other direction. Right. Yeah, I think that's it. No, it's not going to cost him his deal. That is his deal. Oh, you mean like, okay, yeah, right. I see what you're saying, Mike. Like if he appealed and somehow a judge was looking at it and went, oh, wow, we'll give you another trial. Then he's going to go to trial, will be found guilty, and then maybe he'll get the death penalty. Although I wonder if the death penalty, well, I don't know if it would be off the table at that point. I think they'd just be starting fresh. Okay, anyways, Bill Thompson. You know, I don't know that I have a strong feeling one way or another. We've had a handful of death penalty potential cases during this time here. We have one case where the death penalty was imposed and it was thrown out after the Arizona versus Ring versus Arizona decision came down. And that was a case involving Mr. Dale Shackelford. That was a 10-week trial. And we elected at that point, that many years after the fact, that it wasn't realistic to go back to trial just to seek the death penalty. So, you know, we have pursued the death penalty where we think it's appropriate. In the cases we've had to try and death penalty eligible, we've had it there, whatever that means. We've decided each case on its merits, and I really don't have a personal moral feeling one way or another. The law of the state of Idaho is the death penalty is a sentencing option for certain crimes, and this crime would certainly fit the elements of a death penalty case if we'd gone to trial. How difficult was it for you to take the death penalty off the table in this case? I don't know how to characterize it as being difficult. Making the decision was difficult because it was a major decision, and it was changing course from where we'd been working for so many months preparing to go to trial. So we took a step back and look, we being the attorney team, the prosecutor attorney team, and just kind of analyzed each aspect of the case, and we came to the conclusion that if the defendant was prepared to plead guilty straight up, factually admit the crimes, and agree to waive appeals, and we get fixed life sentences, that was an appropriate resolution. All right, Peter, let's see. I've always thought that the death penalty in various states is basically reserved for those spectacularly heinous crimes like this one, where someone like Kohberger here, here he butchers these 4 kids, shows no remorse. Wasn't it your responsibility to take this case as far as you could so he gets the maximum penalty that is in Idaho law? What do you say to that? Let's see. I know he's going to say it. I would say that it's my responsibility as a prosecutor to do justice. Prosecutors who blindly go into court on an agenda, I think, are doing a disservice to their profession and the public. This case and the actions certainly deserve the death penalty if we had to go to trial, no question about it. For Kohberger, in his mind, wasn't this plea deal a victory? He gets to live. You know, I can't speak to what's going on in his mind. I don't see it as being a victory where he's going to prison. The only way he's going to leave is when he's dead. Man, you guys are a tough crowd. We just went completely dead in the support for the channel on here. What happened tonight? Last night was kind of cool at the end. It was sort of, felt like I was doing something good. It's been like real tough going the last hour or so here. I've been in many maximum security prisons, and for what it's worth, there are places of extreme punishment. Albeit, I'll put it that way. I can say a lot more than that, but when you park sometimes in the parking lot outside a maximum security prison, and you hear people shouting inside from the parking lot, you know there's a hellscape behind those walls. You're right, and there's something to be said for a person being reminded every day of the punishment for what they've done. Peter Van Sant said, give us a sense of what your closing statement would have been if you had an opportunity to sum it all up. Peter, actually the best way to look at this is go back to what we did in court on July 2nd in front of Judge Hippler, where we gave the summary of the evidence in this case. And we presented it. I presented it in a manner very similar to what we have argued, would have argued to the jury, would have presented in opening statements and argued and closing arguments. The length of the evidence here, that once the evidence identified Mr. Kohberger, they were able to bring into play not only the DNA match, which was significant in and of itself. It's kind of tough to explain that way. Even your DNA is on the sheath of the murder weapon next to the body of one of the victims. As you know, Bill, jurors want the CSI moment, they call it, and you had one in this case. You had CSI moment that was irrefutable. Well, and the story came out. It really was a multiple CSI moment because we didn't file charges even though we had a lot of circumstantial evidence until they did the trash pull in Pennsylvania. And we got the paternal DNA match from a Q-tip in the trash pull that said the source of the DNA on the Q-tip was the father of the person whose DNA was on the knife sheath. I literally repeat this stuff all the time. That was the CSI moment to start for us. That's what really triggered us being able to get the arrest warrant in place, the search warrant in Pennsylvania, get him arrested, get a direct DNA sample from him, and it matched that. Let's see. And it matched. That was that. that was overwhelmingly powerful. Yeah, let's see. What are we at here? Yeah, so if we got 6 more channel memberships, we beat out a nice round number for the night. Kohberger's family. When do you believe the Kohberger family realized that their son was the murderer in the case? I don't know for sure. When the investigators spoke with them after his arrest, there was nothing the investigators heard or saw to suggest the family knew that Mr. Kohberger was responsible for this. The information we have and the defense maintained is, I mean, that just is so opposite of Blumberg's book, or whatever his name is. Kohberger was responsible for this. Information we have had, the defense maintained his factual innocence all the way up until the time of the plea, would suggest to us that he never acknowledged guilt to his family, quite possibly not until he stood up in court on July 2nd and entered his guilty pleas. As his parents were there at that time, as his parents were there at that time, that may very well have been the first time they actually heard it. I think anybody with a brain knew that he did it, even his family. Let's see. Police reports reveal that Kaylee Gonzalez had told roommates that she saw a creepy-looking man while she was walking her dog, and that roommates returned to find that the front door had been damaged. Do you believe that Kohberger was possibly stalking the house, stalking them? Well, we think that Kohberger was certainly stalking that neighborhood, and we are aware of those incidents where the roommates at the house would, since perhaps somebody was up on the bank behind the house when the dog went out, or somebody was being followed. The cell phone experts were not able to correlate Mr. Kohberger's phone being in the area at the time of those occurrences, but they were able to show that he was in the area of the home, of the area of some 20 plus times other times at night between like 10 and early morning hours. 10 in the evening, when there would be no legitimate reason for him to be over there to shop here being Moscow, being in Moscow to shop, which was his routine practice. So we certainly believe that those trips were involved Mr. Kohberger looking at surveilling or stalking, whatever the case may be. Man, what happened in here, M10? It's just dead as a doornail. It's crazy. Bill Thompson, certainly there may have been other potential victims that he was looking at. Peter Van Zandt said, the Gonzalez family told me in an interview some months ago that they thought he must have been in that house prior to the murders, because on the night of the murder, it's alleged that he had entered that house and gone right up to Madison Mogen's room. Do you think that's a possibility? It's possible. We, the investigators, never uncovered any evidence that would definitely prove that, but I think that's a legitimate point. The layout of the house is unique. It's a little bit confusing. Admittedly, if he was parked up behind the house on the bank, which we believe where he parked, he would be able to see into the house at night, and he would be able to see who's... Yeah. How many times have I told you guys that? I mean, I've said that 100,000 times. Admittedly, if he was parked up behind the house on the bank, which we believe is where he parked, he would be able to see into the house at night and would be able to see whose rooms were where. Where he was actually in the house at some point before November 13th, we don't know for sure. We can exclude that, though. So that's exactly what I always say. That, yeah, from up there he could see. Yeah, we only have the one coffee and everything. So now we've ended up having sort of a struggling night. Man, I thought we were just it's gonna be a good one. Or I guess we have two coffees. Thanks, Mary. Appreciate that. It's driving me crazy how many times you said this. I know, it is kind of funny, isn't it? Like, I feel like we just covered this case so well. I'm sort of frustrated that so many people weren't watching my channel compared to others who just sort of do the big bullet points and look at this and everybody, it's all exciting. And we went through every single thing, put it all together, and it's just absolutely, nailed it. Everything. Like, I even drew the, believe it or not, like before it was ever out, I had this loop drawn out on a map right after the probable cause came out, and that wasn't in the probable cause. I just used common sense. I saw the car coming in like this, and then it left on Walanta Drive, and then I figured, okay, it must have driven around like this and around, and we kept, so that is the route that it would continually, go like this. It just never once did it ever go this direction like this. One time it came around like this, and that was after the DoorDash driver. It came around like this, and that's where it got the 4 o'clock and 4:01 front shot of the license plate, missing a front plate going this direction. The DoorDash driver actually is a huge, serendipitous moment. What do you mean they don't care about it? If they're in the groups, they do. Yeah, what's going on here, you guys? All right, so if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, I would appreciate it. Any amount helps out the channel. It doesn't have to be, so if somebody gets a wave going on a smaller amount, it's still the same thing. We just got to keep every night of the month is what we do on here. And, to have a good month, you got to get nights where people support more than other nights. And this could have been one of those, but for the last hour, it just kind of died down. Now, there's people that go, I don't like when Gray, he's always tight. But that's what we do. That's how we've been able to donate $255,000 and make a huge difference outside of the, just covering the case. However, I think I make a difference covering the cases because I do it factually and put it together and using common sense, and we're so accurate here, it's crazy. So it's like, okay, here's a place for that, and then we also make a big difference out there. I'm just wondering how this just sort of just went and stopped. You will have access to tablet. Yeah. Yeah, the eyebrows speak for them. He must be on rewind. Saw your show when you were analyzing the sound evidence, and I'm curious if matched up with what you know now. Yeah, it's just kind of hard, that sound thing. Some of it made sense. In fact, I think I could hear a dog barking right at when it's supposed to. All right. But look at it. It doesn't do any good what I say. That's when it gets really demoralizing, when you try to say, hey, guys, and then it's just crickets. Let's see. All right. So then Bill Thompson, certainly, the Gonzalez family told me in an interview months ago that they thought, right, it's possible. Yeah, we did that. Okay, Peter, Bill, for you personally, what questions do you still have about this case? Hey, thanks, Pamela Dasgupta. Look it. She said, hey, she's trying for a wave in there. Bill Thompson, well, I don't have any questions about whether we have convicted the killer. I think there are questions. There are more details that are really in the big picture, don't have any significance. Our feeling is that we have accomplished a lot to obtain straight-up guilty pleas to all 5 charges in the indictment and have him spend the rest of his life, not leave prison until he's dead, with no appeals. So we have the finality for the families and for our community. Then we have Peter Van Sant. And so each night now, Bill, as you put your head on the pillow to go to sleep, are you still preoccupied with this case? Is your heart still broken? Do you still have moments of emotion looking back at the tragedy for the state of Idaho, for the country? There is never a day that goes by that I don't remember this and remember what happened to these poor young people and what happened to their families and their friends and the community. And I don't know whatever is I don't know that ever is going to end. For the past over 2.5 years, I have woken up every night around 2 o'clock in the morning and will sit there with this spinning in my head. And I keep a pad of paper and a pen right beside the bed so I can sit up and write down what's going through my mind about what we need to do with the case before I fall back asleep and forget it. That's been our life for well over 2.5 years, and I think gradually that will change for us. But what happened in our community with these murders is forever. Well, thanks, Pamela. I guess, no, you didn't put the little wave symbol. One last message, Peter, and one last message to Brian Kohberger, if he happens to be listening to this. Goodbye and good riddance. Thank you, Bill Thompson. You're welcome. Thank you for the time. And thanks to all of you for listening. I'm Peter Van Sant. I thought it was pretty interesting, didn't you? But there's always questions that they don't ask that I wanted to ask. Like I would say, in that 1320 Linda Lane camera footage, is there really the missing footage from 330 to 405, or did you guys have that footage? And where did he go when he went north on Walanta Drive, but didn't go into the complex. Do you know where he went on those passes? Like, I would get right into the weeds. Good night, Roger Sellers. Thanks for your support in here. All right. Maybe you have any questions? You know, we can always answer some questions in here. I'm never watching again. Embry's an idiot. Okay. Don't ever mention his name in here again. Let's see. Man, that guy isn't Aussie. He's a UK. Let's see. I think everybody's fallen asleep anyways. Like, the chat speed is dropped off dramatically. Like, it's just one comment, and then 10 minutes later there's another comment. And that's when it's like, I just want to get out of here at that point. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So thanks to Ralph, David, Sandy Shirley, 29 months, Lacey Rust, and Sandy Shirley with the super chat, and Kit Kat. Kit Kat, man. I don't see her very often. Yeah, it's probably late over there. And then Paul Marino, Derek Sherman, Charlotte Denny, Allie Cake. I guess we'll have to get back to... I just want to have a show where I can pick a random cold case. Because what I have is this... what is this? Is it this one? That's not it. Yeah, right here. Project Cold Case. This thing right here. So what's interesting about this is, like, you can just type in, like, I go to advanced here, and you could just say, okay, let's see, female, and maybe you'd pick like Caucasian, and then you say like 38 years old, and then it's really just down here, like, okay, then you'd pick murder, and then I guess here you'd say unsolved, and then cause over here. See, this is where you'd say, like, these are the ones that are like suffocation, strangulation, knife. Those are the ones where you're going to get some crazy killer out there. So if you said something like ligature strangulation, then you hit search. And look, there actually one shows up in there. You see that? And this is from 1990 something. And this is in Jacksonville, Florida. So that whenever it's in Florida, though, it's tough. But like, then you can go to like newspapers.com, right? Then you type in Angela Raymond, and then Florida over here. Maybe, let's see, Florida, and then I think that says maybe 99, I guess. 1999. But Jacksonville's tough, though, man. You hardly ever find anything in there. Hey, thanks, M10. Any updates on the guy who took the life of the 3 girls? Live at yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. He's still on the run, I think. He just disappeared in the middle of nowhere. See, like that. And then Angela Raymond. And yeah, so I mean, she never made it into the paper. That's how shitty that is. And that's the only one at 38. But now you can just change the date up here. Let's say you do 37. right? And then, okay, now you've got, I've done this one, I think. Laura Crady. How about Karen Bodine here? All right, so then she lives in Olympia, Washington. So watch, you go Karen, hold on, I'm not sure why that did that. Karen, Bodine, and then over here, the year is, looks like 19, that's hard to see that, or 2000, that's, I don't know, 2017 or something? About 2000 to 2020. Her name is kind of, that's not going to be two people with that name. And then over here, you pick the state of Washington. And there you go. Maybe that's it right there. Is that that's 2006? I don't know. This looks like somebody else. That's like her kid. That's actually in Florida, though. Let me... And it's not even Oregon, it's Washington. There we go. Yeah, there you go. So here's an article right here. So this is back in, Billboard calls attention to unsolved 2007 murder. Who killed Karen Bodine? It's a question detectives have. The 37-year-old woman's family and friends have now asked for well over a decade. A billboard recently displayed along Martin Way, east of Olympia, is now asking... I wonder if I've done this one. Hold on. So if I type in Bodine... That doesn't look like it. Interesting. Might have to put that one on the side over there. And these are all cases that nobody talks about that are always really interesting. So let's do it. Karen Bodine 2007. And I'm just going to throw that into the folder. Alright, maybe we'll take a look at that at some point. Let me go back to, now I'm just going to switch the date to 2007. You always get more out of the original, well, not always, but like, if there's a body found, they haven't identified it, you get a lot of information. And what date did they say? January 22nd. So now let's go to January of 2007. And then on this part here, you can scroll through and 23rd, right there. So here's the first mention. Let me put that in that folder too. Thurston County Sheriff deputies are investigating the death of a woman whose unclothed body was discovered Monday in a gravel pit south of Tumwater. The woman, identified as Karen L. Bodine, 37, had apparently been dead for less than 24 hours, said Jim Chamberlain, chief criminal deputy of the sheriff's office. A driver spotted the body at 8:45 a.m. It was not immediately known how she died, but some unexplained marks on the body made the case very suspicious, said Sheriff Lieutenant Chris Mealy. So you don't think that would be sort of, I bet you that's a crazy one. I mean, what is it? Is there anybody that she knew or anything? Is this just another killer that's out there? Because it's unsolved to this day, right? I guess if we typed in her name, what's her name? Karen Bodine. I used to love just covering these over and over again. I was just trying to find something. So look, even this year, I'm in January. So I'll just put that in that folder. Look at that. It's been 18 years since Carly has heard her mother, Karen Bodine, laugh. 18 years without having her mom around. For 36-year-old Carly Bodine, 18 years is half of her life. So that means she must have had a baby when she was 18. 18 years with my mom, 18 years without my mom. That's a real reality check. Who killed her? On January 22nd, 2000, someone killed Karen and dumped her naked body on the side of Little Rock Road southwest of North Rochester, Washington. A lot of times when I drive by, I have a lot of anger and angst and hurt. I think I'm going to take a look at that one. I'll just have to load it up with all the files and see what happens. Oh, that was it right there. Let's hear how that would have sounded.
And early morning hours to in the evening, when there would be no legitimate reason for him to be over here to shop here, being Moscow.
Well, I didn't want to watch or listen to their video. I'm sure going over the written part would work. Was that right around the corner? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so, that's what I do sometimes. As I just try to find these old cases that that people, never talk about. What happened, Mariska? What did I do this time, man? I'm always making people laugh, and I don't even mean to. No, I actually mean to make people laugh most of the time. But sometimes I see people laughing, and I have no clue. Yeah, I'm going to look at that one later. I think I've done Laura. Well, I may have done her because it's Jacksonville. Let's see. No, I haven't done her case, but yeah, it's wild. Jacksonville, they have so many in here, but their coverage sucks. Like, there's nothing on newspaper articles. There's almost like there's so many murders they just gave up on reporting. Oh, the sarcasm? Yeah. Yeah. I try to be sarcastic. You know what I'd love? There's this one guy on the NBA, let's see, Sirius satellite radio I listen to named Justin Termini. He's like the most sarcastic person I've ever seen, man. He makes me laugh. Like I walk, like 4 miles a day a lot of times just to go out and do something different. And it's like, he just makes me laugh like almost the entire time. Oh, you do? You listen to him? He's so good. He always talks about himself in the third person. Well, Termini's going on vacation this week. It's like, that's you. What are you doing? How can people start party at 10? Yeah, that's what they in college. That's always when it was. Oh, good. I'm glad. All right, so thanks to I think I said, yeah, it was Derek Sherman, and then we had Charlotte Denny, Alley Cake, My Father's Alibi, Gifted 5, then Maggie Ballantyne, CR, Dale Gallio, CR, Mike Weber, CR, Amy Lemoyne, Mariska, and CR did a cat eye for bail money. You guys were bailing me out of prison. Then Walker, I think I needed to throw myself in prison again, except I think I would have been left in there. Lish Smith, then Derek Sherman, T. Ree, then Ralph K. David, then CR again. Grant, then Derek Sherman, then Walker gifted 1, Naomi gifted 1, Mrs. W gifted 5, Michelle H gifted 1, then CR gifted 1, then Roger Sellers 2 months, and then T. Ree became a member, and then Dale Gallio gifted a membership, and then Greg King gifted 1, then I gifted 5, and then we had Derek Sherman, Pamela Dasgupta, Cuckoo, and then Pamela gifted 5, very cool, then Walker, and then Callie became a new member. Then Ted Bundy, a serial killer, actually sent in $10. Then Derek Sherman gifted 1, and then Roger Sellers, Derek Sherman, Roger Sellers gifted 1, Ryan Shaw, Pamela Dasgupta, Roger Sellers, and M10 right there at the end. And thank you guys very much for your generosity. I just try to do as much as I can to bring in the revenue, when I make videos, and especially on the Idaho case, I get views, but when I make videos on anything else, it's really tough to even get like 5,000 or 6,000 views. But when you do something on Idaho, you know, I get from 10 to 30,000, and then ad revenue is an actual thing on those. But you know, in general, it's not the greatest. Like, let me see what let me see what the one I did yesterday. That one should have done well because it was a great recap of the entire Austin Drummond case. Let's see. It's 18 minutes long. And let's see what it made. $23.52. See what I'm saying, you guys? What a nightmare. I mean, that is just... Look at it right here, look. See that? That's that video. Captured. 4,700 views. With an average watch time of 7 minutes and 46 seconds on an 18-minute video that was really interesting all the way through. That people just are so lazy and bored, they just can't watch it. And, you know, it brought in $23. And that's all it's going to bring in. Because currently, when you look at it, let's see. Oh, that was from, which one is that one? Oh, that was from last month. Last month we gave 4,000 out. So hold on, let me go to this one here. Hold on a second. Right here, look. If I click on this video, watch this right here. Watch. See this? $23.52. I did get 8 subscribers though. You see that? That's just crazy though. Like, it takes like 5 hours to make a video, right? And like I don't know. Like, let's say in a month I bring in $12,000, right? I'll donate 4, right? But then I get taxed on the remaining 8, which means like the channel gets 6, and I donate 4. That's a pretty good percentage, don't you think? I mean, and that's out of all the revenue, meaning like the ad revenue, the super chats, the etc. What do you guys think of that? I just want to know what your opinion is. Like, if I make 12,000 and I donate 4, I get taxed. I mean, that's pure cash right there, right? So the 8 that's left, I get taxed on that 30%. So that means that'd be like, what would that be about? What's 30% of 8? Yeah. It's just crazy. But the month started off pretty good so far, so it's estimating that we might be the same as last month. So it said it estimated 12 something. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, but isn't that surprising though? I think a lot of people think YouTube videos make tons of money. Now, if you have a video that gets 1 million views, yes, you can make like $6,000-$7,000 or something on that video, but that never happens. No. Well, if you want to, Kimberly, you don't have to. I like looking it up. I can just find it on Google Earth. You know, I don't want to look it up right this second. It takes away my fun. I just like to find it all on my own. I was short of a freaking bug in 9 seconds. 13,000 watchers. Me putting all effort into quality video. Well, something absolutely not even close. Yeah, well, it's stupid, you know. I don't know, there's like the secret sauce. And whatever it is, I don't know what it is. But look at this right here. In the last 60 minutes, this video has been watched 6 times. That means this video is completely done. In fact, look at this inside of here. So from 9:13 to 9:31, 0. Didn't get any views at all. 48 hours, it has all the views because it got them yesterday and then went. I mean, look at the chart down here. It went, hey, and then pow. Yeah, well, it shouldn't go that way because there's some people, they put out a video and they almost always get viewed. And so I wish mine were like that. You guys should always just check my channel because the notifications don't go out to people. Thanks, Kimberly Barr. Yeah, if you want to take a picture, I'm just going to go find it myself, though, on Google Earth, if they have Street View. I didn't look to see where it was in that short amount of time. Short of a freaking bug in 9 seconds. You mean 13,000 views? What you got? Yeah, it shouldn't go that way. I don't get notified when you're live. Right. Well, just here's the thing. I go live every single night of the year, basically. I probably only take about 5 or 6 days off total of the entire year. Out of 360 days live a year, probably. Wouldn't you guys say that's true? Lisa Valenzuela, Paulette? They're like, yeah, Gray, give us a break, for God's sake. But I think, this is I think people would be like, well, where's Gray Hughes? Where's Gray Hughes Investigates? He's on every night. What happened? Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. What would you do without it, Paulette? Come on. Yeah, cool. All right. Yep. I do like one Bandon Dunes trip and one Beach Fest thing with high school friends. And other than that, maybe 1 or 2 days just randomly. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know what the next big case will be if it hasn't happened yet. I think I might do the Donna Adelson case. Maybe do the trial. And actually also the Jared Brightigan. We covered that the entire time. And that's the one that has Tot Mom's attorney. Yep. I'd freak out if they're looking at a plea deal for Donna. Yeah, I actually think that might be the case. I mean, she has no chance of being found not guilty in that. None. She's recorded. I mean, they just have her completely locked in. I mean, that's worse than the Delphi or even Kohberger. It's just like, we went over that whole probable cause last week, and it's just, forget it. I think there's just always some cases that pop up here and there. It's hard to know. The ones that really grab me are the ones that it's like a mystery that I have particular skills to be able to put it together in a way that other people don't. They just can't do it. See, for me, I always think what I do is common, but it isn't. Like, people literally tell me, they go, Gray, you think people do this, but it's not. Like, see, I think differently than other people do. And I think, how can I present this differently than other people do? And try to put it out there in a way that I think, using accurate, factual information, can portray the evidence in a way that people look at it and go, oh my God, wow. I mean, so that's why I have all these animations in this case, showing the Elantras, movements, driving around. And then it's like, there's no questions. People, like, once they see that, they go, oh my God, and then they realize what they've been missing when they're watching the UK idiot who just stares into the camera and presents absolutely nothing of value to anybody. Yeah, maybe that's what. Hey, thanks, M10. Maybe that's what it is, I guess. Yeah, like I can just, remove things that aren't going to likely be valuable. Discernment. Yeah, the money. Yeah, but she is the money washer. The guy goes, "Hey, you need to launder the money for me." She literally took it to the washing machine and put some Tide soap in there. That's not what we meant, Donna. We meant take the money, put it through different things, and bring it back. I think oh yeah, and also thank you to Mary Tenor and Lisa Valenzuela for the coffees. Yeah. So, anyways, you guys enjoyed the show tonight? I know it's up kind of late. Sorry about that. What time's like if I started at 5 every night, would that be better for people? It just seems like it butts up against every other Tom, Dick, and Harry doing true crime. Ah, cool. Awesome. And also thank you guys for your generosity, and we got to the goal, even a little more than a goal for making up for some other nights. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I can't believe that, $26. Jeez, that's wild. 6. What time did I go on today? Was it 6:30? All right, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. That's what I'll try to do. All right. Maybe tomorrow we'll start the show off with that one that we just found at the end. All right, and maybe if Kimberly is still in there, Kimberly. Now maybe if you want, you can take that picture and send it to me. And then it might be a better looking picture than what I would see, but I don't know. Yeah, but sometimes I do 4-hour shows, shadow aspect, so I guess even if I come on at 6, it's still 10. I'm not sure where you live, but if you live on the East Coast, that's 1 in the morning. Oh, and by the way, let's see. What was the news out today? Oh, that crazy shooting at the military base. I think that's going to turn out to be a guy that should have been kicked out of the military a long time ago, and they just left him in there, and he went nuts. Also, it sounds like Trump is going to be meeting with Putin and Zelensky soon in person, and hopefully that ends the godforsaken war over there between them. I mean, what a joke. So that's good. What else we got? Oh yeah, there's a new virus in China. That's great. Look at this shit. Let's see. Mosquito virus, China. Look at these guys. They're going nuts over there. With drones and elephant mosquito. God dang it. Forget this one. We'll do ABC.
Communities across the country on alert.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control. You know what we need to do is talk to Galvani. Get Allison Galvani on here. This is her gig right here. I think she's at like Yale or something, or Harvard or something. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued travel warnings following an outbreak of mosquito-borne illness called chikungunya. Chikungunya in China. The CDC's warning centers on Guangdong province, where the outbreak has exceeded 7,000 confirmed cases since June, according to Chinese health officials. The outbreak is Guangdong province has been linked to monsoon flooding, which created ideal breeding conditions for mosquitoes, which spread the virus that causes chikungunya. I am getting sick of saying that. Let's just call it chick. Well, that sounds bad too. How about gunya? In the new travel warning, the CDC emphasized that vaccination is available and recommended for travelers. Dr. Todd Ellerin, chief of infectious disease at South Shore Health, Massachusetts, told ABC News that travelers to the region should obviously take precautions. Wear long sleeves and pants, use insect repellent with DEET, and use mosquito netting for babies too young for repellent. Look what they're doing over there. Let's see. Does it say, what are the symptoms? Common symptoms of the virus include sudden onset high fever, severe joint, especially in the hands, wrists, ankles, and feet, muscle pain. You mean, so just having arthritis. Muscle pain, headache, fatigue, and skin rash. Most people recover without medical intervention within 7 to 10 days, but in some cases, symptoms can persist for weeks or months. What is the incubation period? It doesn't sound like it's too deadly or anything. Typically has an incubation period of less than 1 week, according to Ellerin. If it's been more than a week since you left a high-risk area, you're likely in the clear, he said. How is chikungunya treated? There is no specific antiviral treatment for chikungunya. Instead, care focuses on relieving symptoms while the body recovers. The CDC recommends rest, fluid. Man, that almost sounds like something you'd want to have a vaccine for. There are 2 vaccines available in the U.S. that begin offering protection within about 2 weeks of a single dose. The CDC recommends vaccination for travelers visiting areas with active outbreaks. That doesn't sound like it's like incredibly, it's not like a 1% death rate or anything like that. But anyways, that's another, and by the way, it turns out that the coronavirus did start in a lab in Wuhan, China. Isn't that wild? I remember how everybody kept saying, you're just xenophobic. I got stung by one of me bees, and my hand swelled. Do you have bees? You take care of bees? Are you a beekeeper, M10? I watched this lady on YouTube. She goes and remediates bees, but she doesn't kill them or anything. She takes the bees out of let's say you have a shed and there's a beehive in there. It's crazy. My freaking screen is... Sorry about that. I do, and they stung me. Oh, sweet. Well, that's what happens to this lady. See, sometimes she has these really aggressive bees, and they just keep stinging and stinging and stinging her. But man, sometimes she's just right in the middle of doing the bee. She'll grab in and grab a big chunk of the honey out there and eat a big piece of the comb. And looks pretty good. Good night, Roger Sellers. I guess I don't really know why you guys are laughing. I don't get it. Yes, it's crazy. He was interviewed and he had the knife. They won't even let me be a parking officer. I don't know what that means. Are you on Rewind, Jeff? Just found out yellow jackets. What made you spit out your food, Mariska? Or your drink? Yeah, there's also a mosquito hawk that looks just like a mosquito, but it's really big. Those really big things that look like mosquitoes. They eat mosquitoes. They don't bite people. Oh, it's okay. You guys are good. Save up some more for tomorrow, right? Oh, good. Yeah. Well, the thing is I'm naturally funny, but then you guys are so far behind that I don't even remember what I said prior. We learned so much too. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think I should usually put this in there, like the... You saying the name of the new illness. Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. It's just stupid. Come up with a better name, for God's sakes. Jesus. Just call it the Gaia. Oh, you got the Gaia? Oof. Oof, that's not good. Instead it's like non Gaia. What? I mean, I don't have time. I mean, how do you say it really quick to the doctor, for God's sakes? You run in there and he goes, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Well, I've got Chung Kung Gaia. Hold on a second. It's Chung Kung. I don't even know what it's called. And he's like, "I can't help you, man." Yeah, that dog video was pretty good, wasn't it? Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, just call it the flu. There you go. There you go. I know it's a different language, N10. But they could just come up with something real simple. You know what I mean? When is the last time you played the Ooh Chipmunk song? I don't know, a couple days ago. This one? Oh yeah. Now listen, everybody. This isn't really Okinawa. They're saying like effin nawa. Listen, effin nawa. Listen. I think it's more of like a porn. Listen. See, listen. Right here. See that? Effinawa. You see what I'm saying? It's not saying Okinawa. Everyone's trying to say that to make it sound like a peaceful song. But this is... See that? Ooh la la. Oh yeah, right? Effinawa. Watch. Oh God. You hear that? Effinawa. There's no Okinawa in there. Give me a break. Yeah, there's something else going on there. That's some homeless committee thing. Yeah, I saw that. What a joke. That guy. In a wholesome way, no chance. No chance. Now that's elevator music. All right. Yeah. This is right when you see, like on Chips, you know, the show Chips, when they're just riding down at the end of the show on their motorcycles down the highway. Actually, I literally have elevator music here. Let's see, where is it? Oh, right here. That's just absolutely elevator music. Listen to that. We'll get right back in a second. I think it'd be like this. It's like, please hold for the next available operator. If you don't want to hold for the operator, press 1. If not, stay on the line and we'll be with you in a moment. For God's sakes, let me out of here! Right? Oh. What voice? What voice? What are you talking about? Oh, the guy on there? Yeah. You love this M10. You love it, don't you? Come on. If you're still holding, I'm sorry, but the operator will be with you shortly. I don't want to wait anymore, though. I'm sorry, we can't hear you when you talk and the music's playing. Oh, wait, so you can actually hear me, though. You stopped the music to say something. No, I did. No, I did not. Well, you did, because you heard me over the music. That means you're listening to me. Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. That's why I'm playing it, M10. It's terrible. Anyways, all right, you guys. Thanks for being here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, let's get some... There we go, M10. There we go. Does that make you feel better on the way out? You feeling better about that? I could do that, Jenna. Maybe I could come up with stories and have AI generate a nice little script for me and just read those. All right, anyways, thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. And, as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing
Hey,
this.
Gray, what are you doing? You leaving?
And
Yes,
during this
I'm
whole
leaving,
time,
Mary
I have
Lou.
not seen one person
I'm on here a lot.
that is
I
a
know, Gray, but I just...
crime dissector,
Oh, yeah, let me...
conflict rejector,
I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get you on a stretcher.
If you try and play me like an old
Projector
crime sector,
is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pop protector.
Are you okay, Mary Lou? What's wrong with you?
interceptor.
I just got really into it, Gray. Why?
With a vector on his pector, with all respect, y'all. Just remember, I've a temper fucking checked ya.
I have no agenda. I'm a pretender.
And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, so I'll just
Hey,
get
my
right back
voice
to
is
it.
still
All right.
talking, Mary Lou. You interrupted it.
Well, I wanted to say goodnight to everybody.
Hey, shut up, Mary Lou.
Hey, John Boy, don't ever talk to me like that again.
Well, I'll talk to you however the hell I want to talk to you.
That's not very nice, John Boy.
Yeah, he can say whatever the hell he wants to you, Mary Lou.
Gosh, Gray, you aren't very nice.
Was that a wounded duck?
Yeah, no, I'm perfect. I'm perfectly.
Oh shit! I couldn't keep going there. Oh my god, that was ridiculous. That was the craziest cry I've ever heard Mary Lou do. That was absolutely wild.
I was really feeling bad, Gray.
But you sound so normal now.
Well, I've had time to reflect.
Oh, I don't believe you, Mary Lou. I do not believe you. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And be safe out there.